And overall, we get these comments from the ECB Federal Bank Forum this morning with all the leaders of all the central banks saying basically everything they should have and nothing that we haven't heard before, maybe a little more hawkish than anything else. But the language itself not really causing that much of a market move today, which a lot of people were concerned about. There was the Q1 GDP number that came out this morning as well. A little bit of a miss there on the high side for the GDP. Here's a look at where we're at right now. Yeah, we're positive, but yeah, nothing to really write home about, I guess. 0.01 for the S&P, 0.2 for the Dow, the NASDAQ, 0.15. Pretty negative otherwise, top to bottom here. 0.5% for crude, 1% for Brazil. Back to the downside, 5% for Ethereum there. Still the weakest of the cryptocurrencies. I was going to show you the overall market here and have a little bit of a look at what is leading or what is trying to lead at this point this afternoon. I was mentioning the healthcare stocks coming back to life a little bit was really the only group providing any kind of lift for the market today. Continues that way. Outside of General Mills, SJM, HRL, and CPB in the consumer staple group, nothing too exciting there. Everything else, though, pretty red right across this entire board, including the travel names still leading to the downside. The cruise line, CCL, RCL, NCLH, 10 to 15%, in fact, in negative territory. There was some software strength in the tech sector, still kind of trying to shine through there with Microsoft leading along with the semiconductors, though. Not a good day for tech stocks. Let's jump right into a few things here. SIGA, that's monkeypox stock, CODX as well, popped up on a note suggesting there was a CDC meeting coming through at 2 p.m. So right now, apparently they're going to talk a little bit more about monkeypox. Guys, how's your afternoon?
Amazing. Yeah, you just covered a couple trades there, and you know, we are meanwhile just dropping it out. It was really fun sitting here listening to Brad, Luca, Ian, so on and so forth with their day trading. But man, do we have some bangers on right here. You just talked about Microsoft right now. I mean, we are in the money at $1.73 here off this bottom of 259.20 there. Monster move to the upside, man. Held it out, averaged in, boomed it to the upside now as the market is just trying to take out this range here. And you know, during the midday, it was very, very choppy, back and forth, highs, bottoms, back and forth. But right now we are kind of in that upswing right here. So let's see if that can continue. So we're continuing to be long here. Microsoft, that's a 3-minute chart. There's what it looks like on the minute chart. Nice little upside move, trying to get back to these highs. So $1.80 now in the money. And then the other one we have, which has been a favorite of mine all day pretty much today, Meta. Whoa, okay, I didn't even realize where we are on Meta. 163 up to these levels one more time. So let's take another out here on Meta. Because look where it is, but a nice little move to the upside here goes Meta. So, okay, Meta, I see you. We'll offer 163.47 there. See if we get out on the upside here for $1. So $1.90 in the money on Microsoft and $1 in the money here for Meta.
Yeah, the only short that you'll still see on the board for me is if I start the day with a firm, I usually end the day with a firm to the short side. But realistically, the bottom kind of came in there. 3,800 held on the ES. Bed Bath & Beyond went back to that well, but a new one, which I should pay attention to, is Proctor and Gamble. So scanning, I think I mentioned this in the midday chat, at least hopefully somebody was paying attention. I don't really know, but I was putting in the chat there, if you're looking for relative strength, find it in Proctor that was up 1%. And testing a double top. I tried to catch a dip buy as well in front of 142. It just never really got there. And now you're sort of off to the races. And this is, oh, my charts looks like my daily chart has crashed on me. But anyways, this is a relatively strong name. Not usually a great or crazy volatile style trade. But in a day where everything looks so weak, sometimes it's one of those staples, solid company that makes money, that was already strong and had less downside risk if the market broke out. And I think we can get easily to 143 if the market takes out the highs, maybe a little bit further than that. So sort of low-hanging fruit there to just find a stock that was strong and up and go for that. And if I'm going to short into something here, it had to be something which has not really broken its trend to the downside and was already beaten up on the week and relatively weak. Now, you could have considered Shopify here, and I was close to thinking Shopify, and I just got away from it because I felt like there was more cover in and around VWAP. I was getting a better price to load back in on a firm. That could end up being wrong. Shop is equally weak to a firm here today. But I feel like that's when we can go over. That was a gift at the open. You just had to be patient with it and come back to the trade at 10 o'clock, which we've been saying a lot of times. Like, if you don't get that trade at 9:30 or things are too wild at the open because we had already just crushed to the downside on Shop, just fast forward to 10 o'clock. And if the levels you liked are there and the volumes has come into the market, which it had, of course, Shop had done nothing pre-market after the split, then put the trade on at 35. And that's what we're talking about in the pre. Just because you don't get in there at 9:30 doesn't mean you're not going to be able to catch that move. We're saying that with the trade of the day the other day. Just revisited at 10 o'clock and was right there for you off 35. I don't know if it's going to make a big bounce to VWAP like the rest of these names are, but it certainly has a chance here. I see Amazon just took VWAP. This market really starting to turn around. The ES could take out the high in a couple minutes.
All right, here's that move I was mentioning, guys, in SIGA. Heavy volume right now on SIGA down here. As the CDC, it looks like essentially what they're doing is just updating cases, it would appear. They were talking about New York. Apparently there's cases now in Pittsburgh as well they were mentioning. So 6% anyways for SIGA, CODX, another one as well. Starting to go on that. Let's talk about a few things we were dealing with this morning. I can show you this note on some of the chip makers that came into play in a big way right out of the gate this morning. Chip stocks very weak right from the open on this. Bank of America comes out with that's not it. Bank of America anyways, comes out with a negative note on the whole sector, in which they put a spotlight on both AMD and Nvidia and cut the price target on both.
Look, we'll be doing the trade of the day soon here, but I don't think it was rocket science today on what to look for in this market. You know, the sticky note came out. We were all over the shorts early. It looks like right now the shorts, don't seem to be working, which is great because I'm in the money 2 longs here, in the money $3 on those positions in total. But this is what we had earlier on, and it was the second name on here, and it was AMD, and it was just to me. The upgrade, I don't even mention the downgrade or anything here. Worth a shot, not Wortham shot. Short there, but just noticing my own mistake there. But so anyways, $80 there on AMD came through. And if you look at it on the daily chart, I mean, it's pretty obvious here what we were looking at for AMD. It cracked below right there on the daily. So, you already hit one time there, 80 right in there back, I think it was June 16th. Then we came in off of a negative day yesterday. They've been really bleeding as some of these tech names have bounced back. We've seen Meta with a couple strong days. Microsoft's hovering around that 260. You can see the 2 names I'm long right now, Meta and Softy. But as you go here, it's going to continue to bleed. I mean, their PE is still around 20, which to me is fine and historically has been fine, but the market's not going to like that. And not only that, I feel like there is some problems here because Micron is reporting tomorrow. So I just feel like people might be getting out of the way on this. So here's the short that I had on AMD here at $80. I mean, it was so good. We even got like 80 flat. That first position is 79.75, came up, gave us 80, and then it was just collapsing down. We took a bid at 78.60, and then our very last bid was right down here at 77 when we broke back above. So we do miss that very bottom there of 76.80. But I figured hey, we'll hold out for these, more bottoms here because you could see, boom, there. So we make a lower high there. I guess it's a lower. Okay, those are lows. So higher lows, lower low, lower low. And then once we took out the 50 period right there, I was like, maybe that was it. But then we retested and then made another lower low. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row. And now you're kind of reversing it the other way back up to the upside. The only embarrassing thing about this trade was that I was long here right down there before we got taken out at 177 broke. So I did buy 77.15 right there and then took a 20-cent hit, which is looking crazy because now it would be 60 cents in the money. But hindsight, as a famous trader once said, is 20/20. So you got to wait on that one. But yeah, AMD really, really strong the last couple minutes, but very, very weak today. You could see down 3.74% while the market's still up 0.3. So I did that. You're going to do one more name here. Let me just go to Nvidia because you're not going to do that. I just want to see what they're doing right here on Nvidia. Looks like it's even weaker. No, so they're all all the same, man. They're all about down 3%. I feel like these names need to be bought here, but the last time I bought, I think it was like like I said, about $200. For some reason, I'm thinking 170. It might have been one of the last ones I bought, but I keep buying on the way down, and I haven't done that in a while. So yeah, definitely underwater on some of these Nvidia trades. I mean, this was up to $340 in November. Now you're cut in half, which isn't as bad, cut in half, but still, for these big cap names, man, with the NASDAQ down about 30-something%. I don't know exactly what he keeps every day. I mean, yesterday we were down 3%. So Nvidia looking pretty sick, but I think a lot of it has to do with the name you're going to talk about.
Yeah, Micron. I mean, I'm not going to go over AMD 108 again. It's almost no point. It was such a great trade this morning. But not the granddaddy, but I think the catalyst here, Micron, coming through. After that GDP number that we got, Micron, a highly cyclical name in the chip space, so probably a little bit more prone to downswings when you get a recession. They're known for being a good valuation, but being a slow starter. And it's been sitting at a solid valuation for a long time, but just understand that while it can give you some cover for value, it's not going to rise as fast if they do. And I expect to see some things in that call. Still probably concerned about supply chain, still having some concern about the overall economy, and then probably a poor guide is my guess, or at least a conservative one anyways, which could weigh on it. This is a stock that already did what AMD did today. Like AMD gap below that 80 level, and fine, like it had pulled back probably as much as MU, or maybe more than MU at the point that MU broke to 66. But now it's just taken another level down at 60 even here. So that's what we got to be watching. Below that price, it's sort of an obvious failure on the daily chart at that 60 level, and it's going to take a pretty strong effort out of those earnings to get us above there. I'm looking to fade that if we get any opportunity to tomorrow. There's no guarantee that we will. I mean, who knows, right? Like, it could come either direction. I'm not going to predict what will happen with earnings. I just know that when they report, if I get a chance to fade 60s and the guide was poor, I'm going to do it.
You're doing it.
But if they guide higher, all bets are off. Then we're going to wish we had bought the sector today. That's for sure.
A bit of a split day overall when it comes to tech stocks, and I refer to Apple and Microsoft, without which this market might be down a little bit more than, I mean, it's basically flat, but it could be down more than, we are right now. Here's Microsoft, 1.8%. Flip over quick to Apple, exactly the same. I mean, these charts, guys, are almost mirror images of each other today for both Apple and Microsoft.
Yeah. Was that the same stock? What was Brendan doing there? That was like a perfect mirror. But no, look, Microsoft, I feel like these names, I mean, here's the daily chart. It doesn't look as nasty as some of those other names, right? I mean, you're still bumping across the 50 period. I believe this is the name that, like, all not the hedge funds, because they have their own kind of plan, but all these value investors that want to feel like they're going to miss the bottom. I believe Microsoft is a value stock. I mean, it's going to get caught up in the tech dump, but it's not nearly as bad. I mean, Microsoft's high, 350 down to 261. That's a walk in the park for some of these high growth stocks. So let's see where it goes now, Microsoft. But I'm long this name in the money. I mean, look how much I'm in the money here. $2 right now on Softy in the money. Like, you want to talk about buying something. Good trade here for me as it continues to make a move to the upside. Here goes Microsoft. So, I mean, yeah, keep buying this name. I like that 260 level. Any weakness, I think you got to go. And this is not, giving up any secrets here or anything like that. But, like, we talked about relative strength versus weakness. So right now, Microsoft's up 1.88%. And for some reason, the NASDAQ's down 0.36. Do we even know why? Like, why is the NASDAQ down? It has to be all the chips. Like, all the chip names are just dragging it this far because Apple's up, right? Microsoft is up. So both these names well up and really holding the NASDAQ above water here, because a lot of other names really getting hit today on the NASDAQ. But it's the chips. It's the AMD down 3. It's the Nvidia down 3. Well, oil, I was going to say oil, Oxy's down 4%. Oil right now has turned red. That obviously has nothing to do with the NASDAQ, but that's a nice little move downside for some of these oil names as well. So I don't know, man. I'm surprised the NASDAQ is still down this far, but I'm happy with some of the trading that we've done here. This is another level to possibly take one more piece out here on Microsoft. And let's not look. I mean, I've looked gift horse in the mouth this whole way up. I mean, that's why we've been able to hold it. But this time, let's just say we're at this top. I mean, am I really holding out now for 50 more cents? Yeah, maybe I should, but we're at a nice little level here on the high side. So let's just average this out, man. If we can get out at 261.80, that would be fantastic. There we go. So we just took another piece. So I put an offer there. I told you that if we can take this out here, we'll do it. So there it is, 261.45 for $2.20 in the money now on Microsoft. Let's just let these all rip, man. I don't have any offers anymore for Meta or for Softy, and they just continue to go back up to the upside.
So I'm going to do something here quickly, just showing off this chart here on the ES, because Apple looks really strong. It's 1.8% to the upside, outpacing the ES here. But if you look at what's going on in the futures, like we haven't really broken the range to the upside. Downside, you've actually had some, not capitulation, but some follow through to the downside. And we're right back up to this 38.4 after holding 3,800 like an absolute champion. So the support is definitely there in the overall market. But the question is, can you break that top when Apple is still just trying? It's got about 60, 70 pennies away from even getting to that high of the day. And this is what we have to watch out for. Like, yeah, I believe in the longs. I chose Proctor because it was breaking out, but there's no follow through in that move if Apple doesn't take us through as well. So about the only thing left to happen would be one of the big boys to get to that high of the day. Now, this is going to suck to say, but with the ES being closer to that high than I think Apple is, there's a decent chance we get up there and fail. It's probably an Apple short, unless you're trading the futures. It's an Apple short that would make some sense off of 140.70 with the stop out just above the high of the day. But yeah, they're doing the heavy lifting today. But if these longs are going to start to follow through, we're going to need Apple to break that top. It's been a great rally off that 3,800, that double bottom in the S&P 500. But I would not be shocked if we sit around here for a while, lull us to a sense of complacency, or we get asleep, and then next thing you know, it's like 45, 50 minutes from now, we finally break those highs. So you don't want to give up too early. We're only 15 minutes in. We have a long way to go here, but this market is trying to get through that high. Big defense down at 3,800.
It'd be important for Apple, Microsoft here if we are successful in that. Here's CODX, guys, just popping back up on volume this time, sell side. So this meeting or press conference maybe still going on for SIGA and CODX. A heads up on those. Shopify ends up being a bit of a weak trade today. To the downside we go here for Shop now, $32 for Shopify.
If there was a mistake on Shopify, and that's just true for anything that you didn't hold through the low of the day, it was not holding through the low of the day. All that said, it presented us with a range. Whoops, it's not split adjusted there. It presented us with the range at the open. $35 represents that 350 level on the daily for a Shop, and it gave you a flush. It was just barcoding off that price this morning. There was no interest in it. I mean, volume was essentially zero compared to when Amazon did their split. I mean, like, anybody and everybody was trading Amazon then. The entire trading floor was only trading Amazon for the entire pre-market, and for the first half an hour that day. It was Amazon, Amazon, Amazon. This morning there was no juice behind Shopify, unfortunately. So you wanted to wait till the market opened to see volume come in. And when that happened, like this is at the market open in the final 3 minutes before the bell, and it flushed down to 33.60. So you're not chasing that move. Chasing moves like that in this market has been getting you destroyed. So it was 35 was a good entry price. You wait for it to come back, and maybe it doesn't come back. I don't know. Sometimes you got to be willing to miss the trade to get the trade sometimes. And it did come back. Was able to take it in front of 35. When it failed exactly at 35 even, I added at the same price in just to confirm that the sellers were winning out. Takes them out in front of VWAP, hold it to the low. It ended up breaking that 33 bottom, getting an extra 40 or 50 cents, and since then has held the lows. I wouldn't be shocked. If we can take out these highs, and there's a long to be had off of 33 here in Shopify, that could be worth it, but I'm not there yet. It's going to need the market to be breaking out for me to love that one in Shopify. It's a short till it's not type of situation, and I don't really see an entry point to that short.
Yeah, look, I mean, I'm not going to talk about the daily trade because Neil just talked about it, all those levels. I don't think we see any of those again as well, like Neil said, $35. But I just want to call up a daily chart here for Shopify because, I mean, regardless, it was split day today, fine, it's over with, old news, right? But, it's in this range, like $40 to $30. I mean, this is looking pretty sweet to me here. So I feel like you can buy these bottoms if and when it comes up to it. I mean, you're getting pretty close right now at $32.87. If this bottom is going to be $30, I still feel like you have to wait. And I know Jacqueline was what's up, Jacqueline Cobb there? Good member of our chat as well. Seems to know a lot of stuff about a lot of things. So shout out to you, Jacqueline. But for these names that have been so beat down, and I go back to the same thing with AMD and a lot of these names that I feel like can get going at some point, I really want to see the next ball to drop is the E. We know the price, right? We know inflation. We got GDP today. We know unemployment. We know that the printers have stopped over there at the Fed. So what is the next thing? Earnings. And like, we got what, $208 of earnings last for the S&P. I don't know if we're going to get that again. That seems pretty high. But for me, it's just about like looking forward. What are these companies going to say? Could you get a little bit of a guide higher on expectations? The worst is over, or the other way around. We saw Nike yesterday, as an example, come out and they guided lower, right? They said that, hey, look, all is good. We actually had a decent quarter, but our forecast moving forward is a little undetermined, unknown, and quite frankly, weaker. So you see that. They got a nice bump up there yesterday. I can't believe that. I was even told the wife about this one.
That ain't no bump up.
That's a monster move up there. I don't know what happened there. Like, we were short Nike.
Everybody that called short was right. There was no way to win. How do you win when it does that?
You don't, because you break out that level. But anyways, we'll save Nike for another day. That stock right now. Hold on a second. Where's the gates of hell? Here it is, right here. There's Nike just busting through the gates of hell for yesterday's trade. The only negative name we had yesterday, and we have another one today, NEO, and I'll talk about that. It's a very similar situation. But anyways, there's Nike. They reported horribly. Actually, good report. Sorry, I take that back. But a bad guide, and you could sort of see the reaction here from that move, right? So a nice little move to the downside, all the way to 104, including yesterday's close, 103. This is today, I believe. Yeah, down today, down to 103. So Nike's report sends this name down about, what was it, at 115 was the high there. So, down to 103, and that's Nike. So, if they're having a small little problem there, then I do wonder about a stock like Shopify. And again, both retail, both trying to get that online presence going as well. I know Shopify only sells, the website space and the building of the website. So, I know a little bit about the company, but honestly, I feel like the next thing is earnings, right? And you're going to start to get that now. Micron's coming, I believe July 13th or something, maybe AMD's as well. So there's a bunch of different names coming through, and I just think you got to wait for earnings until we really understand what this market's going to do, which leads me to what the stock's going to do, which I guess leads us to that next point there, Brendan.
Yeah, I was just going to double check. Yeah, Shopify is going to be August 2nd, guys. So still a few weeks to go for Shopify. But as Sean was saying, the end of week one, the beginning of week two, we'll get into full swing earnings season once again into July. Bed Bath & Beyond. Very, very bad. CEO gone. The loss was more than double what was expected on a per share basis. I mean, there's not much positive, to say the least. Now $5 for Shopify or for Bed Bath & Beyond.
So I'm going to preface this by saying I have nothing good to say about the report, and I said this every single time we took the long, which I'm taking again for the third time today. There's nothing good about it. It was almost impossible to really love sitting in that short because it's 32% short interest. So when it tanks from 650 down to about 550, and then at the open we're sitting at 540 or so, that's a really tough trade to get to the short side. And when it just completely breaks the bottom, it's SSR, so you can't really hit that bid very well. So that's a difficult trade to have. And when you fall this far, sometimes as a day trader, the best you can do is just look for like a quick little bounce scalp trade. And it bounced off $5 even early in the morning, then consolidated at 510. 510 to the previous breakdown price at 540 worked. So I went long 510 again, got almost all of it out there in front of 520 for another scalp trade. And now I'm just long 505. And if you haven't guessed it, it's about to break $5 and I'm about to be out when it breaks $5. I'm not holding through that price.
$5.
Yeah, actually, I'm contemplating. I might need to try the short. As I said, it's short sell restricted, so if it breaks that level, reversing into a short position requires there to be an uptick for you to get the fill. So there's no guarantee you're going to get the fill, but that level goes, I'll give up the ghost. It'll work 2 for 3 for the long, but really that's just sort of finding a trade in there because it had some good activity, as opposed to thinking that that I could get a good short. And oddly enough, When I got out of the first long, that probably was a short, and I'm thinking about it now, but that's hindsight. I think I liked it closer to 550, and that's why I didn't reverse into the short in the mid-30s. Bed Bath & Beyond, it's an ugly quarter, but maybe they're trying to turn it around here, but I don't know how they're going to succeed. You go into a recession, these guys are, probably need to get bought by somebody. Maybe that's your best bet for this stock. But it gets through $5. You might not want to hold through that price if you happen to have that long.
I would say you're probably pretty accurate on that one. Shout out to you, Nathan Wilder. Thank you for the $20, but I think this is a pretty good point here. I'm not going to talk too much about Bed Bath & Beyond. Neil just hit that's pretty good there. So, yeah, now that's stock. What a joke. Okay, love the show. Normally, I only trade during the first hour and a half. I tend to struggle during the midday afternoon trading. Any tips? And well, you already, the distinctions, you've already given that sort of there. But I would just say, the distinction about all that is sort of that, when you're trading during the midday, was Nathan, right? Yeah, Nathan. Part of the problem is that it can get pretty choppy, right? When you're looking at the NASDAQ here, if you're going to call midday, I like to think it almost starts at 11, not just because that's when our show ends, but back and forth and down and up. So what I think, today was a good example of kind of a pretty choppy day. So what I like to do during the midday is just stick with names that I really believe in and that I think that, I have a good read on. And if I can do that, and that's why you're going to see me in these two positions. Microsoft down here, look, almost no trading in the middle of the day, right? Until, again, it started to break. So we broke above some of the key levels from the midday, and I went long. Now, that was not great. I had to average in when it came back into those levels. But I would just say during the midday, look early, boom, big move, right? Then it tries to develop a new level, then breaks, and then you start to make new low. I'm just randomly talking about a stock here. So I just feel like trade names that you're a little more comfortable with, where you feel like you have that relative strength. I started my trading career in I can't even say it properly because it's so long ago. 2002. I was going to say 2020, but no, it's 2022 right now. So 2002. So this is my 20th year. And honestly, it's like I can't really figure out the best times to trade other than I know that when you're trading the morning, the good thing about the morning is that all the news is brand new into the market. So we're going to go over NEO next. You can trade against that news. When you're in the middle of the day, unless there is a big release from Powell or a stock-specific news, something like that, then you do get that. Because you know what happened right here on Microsoft, and actually it was right here on NASDAQ. Look, huge bump up, so you get 5 minutes of straight up, then you basically make a new low in that range the next 5 minutes. So up and down, you want to talk about getting wicked out and all that kind of stuff, that could easily happen to you there. But trade less shares, Nathan, is my advice, and trade something that you believe in. Therefore, when you look back here, it can get going. And Trader Pratt right now trying to crush his lunch he's getting ready to go. This man is so confident he can wear an orange shirt with basically orange shorts as well.
I couldn't rock that look.
And then go to the golf. Yeah, that's right, Trader Pratt. There he is. Yeah, there it is. The orange on orange, man. The Creamsicle Kid is in the building right now. More names for you, Pratt. The Creamsicle Kid for Trader Pratt. And he's cold as well there. So
it is cold.
It is a little cold in here. We do have some of those issues with air quality control here because it's very, very hard to regulate because I'm on fire, baby. But let's go back over there to Brendo.
I just checked, guys. It's 20 degrees Celsius outside right now. Here's the NEO, N-I-O report from Grizzly Research. This is what it looks like anyways. Very easy to find this online if you want to read through it, but it's interesting. It's an opinion, I guess, or there's not a lot of factual information in this. It's more of an opinion on their battery arrangement with a spin-off of their own company. Anyways, this came out 10 a.m.-ish yesterday, and we come in today to find NEO down. I think it was 6 or 7% in the pre-market, but it was an interesting move out of the gate here in the pre-market for NIO being down so much when, if this was the reason, it was, a long, long time before that.
Maybe if I say it enough, I'll actually listen to myself. If it doesn't break the low, there's only one place to go. And I always think about that when a stock has dumped or gapped down on a big earnings miss or maybe like a bad, like a drug failed or something along those lines, or in this particular case, a short seller report. So you'd already had a bit of a flush, entire market down, and then you had the gap down. And when you gap down, there was this 21 level just staring everybody in the face that I don't know how you get away from liking something like that 21 on the 15-minute chart. But as usual, what ends up happening is it looks like, okay, that level looks great. It's sliding back in. And then we find support right where it was at 7 a.m. when retail came in at 2060, and then it shoots to the upside. But the only thing good about the trade here is I just allowed myself to get stopped out when it took the quarters. I thought maybe we'd have a nice little curl here at 2175 and got out of it. But if you rewind the tape on NIO, this morning, I said to myself, when I was looking at this 15-minute chart, and I was actually saying to everybody, and I didn't listen, was if I get out of that 21 short and get stopped out, I'm going to wait until we get to the previous support level at 22. It tests that level, and that's when I'll try the short again. That's not what I did. I got impatient, got in and out there for a small hit, and then when it came to 22, I was done with the stock because I felt my read was poor. So a bit of a missed opportunity there in NEO. By the way, the market is pulling back a little bit, but I just want to update a couple of things before we move on, because I think we're going to finally do that trade of the day that Sean had. But Affirm on that slight pullback all the way back to low, so still hanging on to that short. Find something you like, as Sean said, and you like the direction, and go that way. The Affirm short we put on, and then when the market popped up, and the long that we put on when the market popped up was relative strength in Proctor and Gamble, reloaded at the same breakout price, and it's right back to the highs. So if you can find relative strength and weakness, you might not need the market to break out or break down. You can trade more successfully within the range. Brendo?
All right, we mentioned the Bank of America note on the chip sector that was out this morning, kind of cautious note overall. They specifically targeted two names, Nvidia and AMD, both of which gave you great opportunities this morning. Sean is here to review his look at AMD.
Thanks, Brendan. So yeah, I chose AMD here today to pick on because of that note and also because of a key level. But if you also remember, I believe it was yesterday or the day before, it might even be yesterday, AMD did have a data breach. So there was some skeptical traders possibly in AMD here yesterday. You could see the big move down there. That's the candle there, the second over. So that's yesterday, a big move down from 90 all the way down in. So, you know, today there's a big problem. And then what I've highlighted right here is just that $80 mark. So you come in on AMD and you're already at that 80. So it's like, okay, let's see where we can go from here. We're under the 50 period. How weak has AMD been? It's been absolutely brutal for the longs, especially if you're trying to catch the longs. So I actually figured that there would be some traders trapped today at 80 bucks. 80's been so good. Like I said, we can even pull this back even more if you wanted to extend this further. You'd see that 80's been holding $75, $80. So I think that can still hold. I mean, you're down 4% today into AMD, making some of these bases now at 76. How good was that down there if you're able to pick up some of these longs off of some of these wicks? We actually made a little bit of money there on the long as well. But here it is right here in the pre-market. It's on the sticky note. It's the number one name on the sticky note today for AMD. And here it is. These are 80s, man. We took it in the pre-market. We actually, our first position at 75 wasn't that great, but then we put on a decent size there, even though it's in the pre-market at that 80. That's how much I really like that level. And honestly, up here is like 81, 81.50. It's like, hey, if we broke that and we were wrong, then we would have got out and definitely been like, okay, the market's back, whatever, we're going to the upside. But instead, the complete opposite happened. And it actually gave you an opportunity to even get more short here as the market opened, because it basically barcodes throughout the whole pre-market, doesn't do anything at all. And then the market opens up, flush. That's where I should hit that toilet bowl animation here as you continue to go to the downside. And then we just start to get out, man. You know, every one of these about 15, 20% on the way down. That out right there is 78. So again, like we're in the money $2 and we don't really have anything back on here. That previous bottom is 79.30. So we've already cracked that. Like some of these outs here are 79. Like this is probably 79.30 right there, right? This is 78.50, 78 right there on the way down. And then we take our last piece right there at 77 on the way back up. And we were chatting about this in the chat during the midday show, giving you guys our plan of action. But you could see we started basing out there. And I was like, you know what? Why, if the NASDAQ keeps going down, which it didn't, it's actually positive now, then these bottoms here can still make lower lows. Like there's a low, that's lower, and then we come in and make another lower one. But then when we take out at that time, the 50 period was down there. When we took that out, it looked like it was signaling a trend change for me. So we actually got out, and then we started picking on some longs where we made a little bit of money off the 77 long up to 77.50. But you know, AMD today, I feel like it wasn't a very tricky one, and that's what I'm always talking about, relative strength versus weakness. There's no way. The market is up right now. AMD's down 4%, or we're flat in the market, but down 4%. The market's nowhere near that. Pick on names that have a catalyst. Yesterday, the data dump there, or breach. And then today, the downgrade and the comments. So you got to be very, very careful about this. We've seen it's red, so there's no way I would try to bottom pick this long. Let's just keep forcing the shorts here on AMD.
So important to have a reason as to why we're looking in one particular direction or another. There's one name I wanted to mention here just before we get into anything else. Actually, two. Palantir. For all you Palantir fans out there, down today 1.8%. This tried to go in the morning, I noticed. There was I think it's $37 million Army contract announced this morning. The other one was this one, Upstart. We mentioned a whole bunch of upgrades and downgrades this morning. This was one that got one we didn't mention, UPST. Holding 32 here as best it can, guys, for UPST.
UPST, yeah, that was a dirty one this morning.
You know what was dirty?
What's that?
First things first. Prad's lunch smells absolutely delicious. We get a salad
Same lunch
for lunch.
as ours, but
No, he's got chicken. He's got like this roasted.
what was the
or
main one
pepper.
today?
I don't know. It looks pretty good.
I don't know what everybody else got, but
You know what stunk today, though? If you were, look, there's a lot of stocks that were down. I mean, Upstart was gapping down. We talked about NEO was gapping down. AMD was looking pretty weak. I mean, like, there was so much out there. Bed Bath & Beyond was gapping down. Carnival Cruise Lines gets a downgrade by Morgan Stanley. Love you, Morgan Stanley, but take it easy on Carnival Cruise Lines. Said it's going to zero. Zero. Yeah. So obviously that's not a good outlook. And we're sitting in this one in the pre-market and then missed this little curl here at the open. But the mistake was getting out in front of an even dollar at 9. It just continued to flush. It's just, it hasn't really caught too much of a bid on volume, although it has recovered 865 back to the $9 level. Now it's just barcoding. I wish I could say there was a trade here. I think I'd fade $9 if I could. Maybe. Yeah, you maybe give it to like 95 or something like that. Fade $9, get short in front of it if we saw that price on a big bump up. Just get out if it breaks 9 even. I don't even want to try the longs as weak as this thing has been. Maybe a good thing long term for NCLH or something. But wow, Carnival was an unbelievable dog this morning. It was tricky because when you're sitting in like 3 or 4 shorts that you like, it was easy to miss out on the opportunities. Like I wanted to get a firm at 9:30 and I wanted to monitor Shopify at the open, so I didn't add to CCL because I figured I'm already in CCL. And that ended up being a mistake because really, if you just sort of pick the one, the one you love the most, that ended up being a pretty good thing. And there was a good question in the chat. Someone was asking, what's like the biggest thing I had to overcome as a trader when I started out? For a lot of people, it's the fear of missing out and it's being patient. When I started out, my problem, because I was already risk averse and tended to be disciplined in my trading, was actually the reverse. It was about when you were right about something, adding to the position as it went or holding it longer. Like when I first started making money, it was on penny stocks. And I was just like, oh my goodness, I got 25 to 26 and the stock went to 30. And it was about learning how to, hey, you got the move the right way, you found the support, hold it a little bit longer, hold that piece. That was my thing, but you have to know yourself. What are your strengths and weaknesses? Because you don't change who you are. You just work with the type of person and trader you are to maximize your strengths and minimize your weaknesses and try to be better where you can be. But you're not going to change your personality. That doesn't happen. Man. Ask anybody in a marriage, man. You don't change people. But you can work on it to get the best trader and become the best trader you can be. So you got to find what that is. And it starts with being honest with yourself, right? Like I can say, I'm not nearly aggressive enough. I don't hold long enough. I can have too tight stops sometimes, make top wicks and bottom wicks, but that's just who I am, and you got to do that. I just wish I'd held on to CCL. This one could be an interesting trade for the next couple of weeks. This market makes another downturn, this will be in a lot of trouble.
Oh boy, I don't remember what we were talking about there, but
Neither do I actually.
Yeah. Oh, someone asked about lessons you learned, I guess.
Yeah, that's
what it was. Yeah. So, all right. Yeah. No, for sure. You just be who you are, and if you're a scalper, you're a scalper. If you try to hold on a little bit longer, you try to hold on a little bit longer, right? And I think we can all easily sort of adjust into new habits, but they do take time. And I would just say, you know, lower your shares if you are struggling to find a new strategy, or if you even think you have one, lower your shares, test it out, because the one thing is that this market is open every single day except next Monday, where we will not be here for July 4th. But even though we are in Canada Day, and Canada Day, for those that may be wondering, is in 2 days. So July 1st here, the TSX or TMX and some of those CSE and things like that will be closed here, but we will still be open, as obviously most of the names pretty much all the names that we trade here are on the U.S. markets. So yeah, good little talk right there. All right. Microsoft, I just want to go over this. If we take out this 260.30 area, we're going to get out. We just took a piece there for the long time. We're only into 10% left on Microsoft. Hopefully this will print out for us and we can, you know, raise it a little higher. But if we break through here, just kind of this level right there, where we topped out there at 260.30, 260.40, 260.40 right there. And then that was sort of the go spot. So, you know, and again, great advice all around, but that's sort of what we're talking about here, and that is that have the ability to sort of be able to understand how you trade and hold a little bit, take a little bit off, take a little bit on, so on and so forth for those kind of trading. Oh man, Amazon, that was, you know, waiting a little bit too much here on Amazon. Like, I knew I wanted this name to be short. I mean, now the market's turning, so we are going red. So look out below on some of these trades, man. Meta definitely, like, I didn't even notice this one, man. Meta turning hard right now, back into the downside. So I've even canceled my stop orders on Meta. I didn't even realize how far this one had fallen back in here. Wow, Meta, okay. Big time move. Like, we just took a piece out there before we, as we were coming on the show here at 163.45. Now you're down $1 from that mark. I still want to try to respect this 162 bottom here on Meta. So Nathan, thank you again for the other super chat, but thank you for the great questions, right? So, I mean, it's just like right here, be patient. So now we're in the middle of the day here, and that's what we're doing. We're going to try to be patient here with Meta, right? So as it's falling back down in, we will try to get this 162 print one more time. So let's put our bid like 162.30 or so. We'll put a bid there. We'll see if it fills us, comes back in, and then we'll use the same strategy as before. Get out if it takes down 162. We'll lose 30 cents. We just captured $1.50 or whatever it was. So definitely worth taking a risk here on Meta. Here it comes back in. Just make sure we don't ever take trades unless we have stop orders. So as we speak right now, I'm putting in a stop order to get out, and I'm not like Pratt. No one's hunting stop. Give me a. Anyways, we'll talk about that after. But
no, say it right now.
What?
We'll tell you guys where our stops are, because we've been trading long enough. No one's hunting your stops. Like, if I say my stop on,
it just requires
example,
so much.
My stop on a firm is at 1935.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, if people in this chat gonna run the stock up 70 cents? No, it's not gonna happen. So like, that's why we say it. Like, trust me, if we actually believe that saying my stop is at this price or at that area, like Bed Bath & Beyond 5 or whatever, if we actually thought that was going to screw us over, then we wouldn't be saying it, because that would just be stupid. And we've been doing this long enough to understand that, hey, the market's huge and there's so much volume out there. You know, it's fine. I get it. And I get the reason why you might not want to do it, because it kind of sucks to put it out there and then you feel dumb when it gets run over. But if it's a good level, the stop should go there.
We want to tell you guys our ins and our outs, right? So you can hold us to them, we could justify them, and that's honestly how we get better, right? Is by understanding where we're getting in, where we're getting out, and hopefully you guys can kick in with that as well. So all good on that one. Great question. Keep them coming, guys.
The hot topic of late, guys, continues to be the R word, as we like to call it. The recession fears continue to linger in the background, causing a bit of a negative tone overall, or more of a negative tone for the overall market. We're going to talk about psychology here specifically, because in a downturn, in a negative market, it can be very stressful dealing with the negativity on a daily basis, both if you are a short-term trader and obviously, yeah, don't look at your investment accounts right now. So a few tips here. We'll do our best to give you a few tips on how we can deal with negative psychology during a recession.
Yeah, so one of the things, during a recession and during a market pullback, one of the things people always get concerned of is like, I want to be invested in the long term. What am I going to do? Like, how do I get in? When do I get in? What am I supposed to do about it? Picking bottoms is impossible. So avoid FOMO. One thing, like, I'm just going to use Upstart because it happened to make a move today at down 10%, and it's on my quote board today, but it exemplifies this point. Upstart back in May made this move where it held after a huge capitulation, got cut from $90 to $30 in 3 trading sessions, right? And then you essentially doubled up in a matter of weeks. Now, anybody looking at this traditionally saying, oh my goodness, when this reclaimed $30, you could have just made 80% in a week and a half. It's just true. It's 50, 60% in a week and a half. It's a huge kind of upside potential there. And it's so easy as this is happening to get FOMO and say, I've just missed a tremendous opportunity at the bottom. And what you need to understand is, for a lot of these names, when you do the job of zooming out, making a 10, 15, 30%, 50% retracement from a wipeout low, 100% doubling up when a stock has given up 90%, the math, it's just easy for that to happen. I know that sounds crazy, but it's not even a blip on the daily chart. So when everyone's thinking that's FOMO, it hasn't even broken the trend at that point. Breaking the trend on this stock will be over 100% from the bottom. That's the reality. That's when you'll be able to say that this thing has broken that downward trend. It's above the 50-period moving average. It's got some bullish sentiment to it, and you're not trying to pick a bottom. You're expressing yourself into an upward move. And that's what you got to understand here. You will have to sit through some massive upward wins for you to avoid that whole FOMO of just trying to catch these bottoms. That's just part of the course. So unless you're dollar cost averaging in, you're not going to get that low. At some point when you get the turn, it'll be buying a stock that you'll look at and it's like, but it's already up 80%, or it's already up 50%. That is a reality. So you got to avoid that FOMO in this market.
Yeah, so I'm going to take basically the same idea there, and it does have to do a little bit with FOMO, but it's a way to avoid that FOMO, and I think that that's obviously just as important as having it, is to say, like, all right, what's my plan? And that's my tip, is like, have a plan on what you're trying to do. Like, you can't just buy every single dip, right? So let's just say that you are dollar cost averaging. I think that's the best thing to do in this market. You don't want to push all in because something's at a key level, right? Dollar cost average, and I'm going to use AMD as an example. Like AMD, a huge runner, right? Obviously, you missed the top, no doubt about that. I don't think anybody got out at 160 or anything like that off of a huge move, right? But as it's coming back in, try to look and find out some key levels on where you want to buy. Like on the way down, why were you buying here at 132? You know, there's really nothing. There's no levels here that show anything of that. Sure, it bounced there back up to 156, but then when you're buying 132s here, look what happens. Drops all the way down to 100 before it even comes back to 132. If you're sort of already identifying that, hey man, this market maybe is a little bit weak, well then that's what we want to make sure that we identify, right? It's a weak market. So you don't need to be that person that is in here buying every single one of these dips. Just do some work. Like if you like 85 here, I can't blame you. There's a level right there. But where's your next? That doesn't mean you start buying 80s or anything like that. Drip down and see here. Here's 72 as another level, right? Will it get there? I don't know. But hey, you can miss a bottom. That's okay to do that. You know, so that's part of it. It goes with Neil's trading there. It's like, you can't, if you like AMD, which I do, that's fine. But don't like buy every single level on the way down. I mean, we can even go more. I mean, it's going to drip down more. But like, look how good this 75 looks. 75, 75, 75, 75. So if you're in a market right now, then stop buying 100s and stop buying 88s. Easier said than done when you look back at this trade, because you say, oh, well, you know, how did anybody know to do that or whatever, right? But to be honest with you, you know, that's how people trade. You got to sort of dollar cost average, but be smart about it. Pick key levels. So psychologically, you won't, you know, allow you to sleep a little bit better at night, because at least if it comes down, you have some waiting bids at some levels that you believe are key. So opposite kind of a FOMO, plan your trade. If it gets to it, take the fill. So that's sort of how I would deal with that.
I love that concept, and I'll extend on that, or I guess expand on that a little bit with my idea as well. And that is simply confidence, guys. And confidence comes from understanding what works for you. And the best way to do that is to keep track of what you're doing. And with records, you'll understand what is profitable for you and what is not profitable for you. Understand big picture in the case of this year is very, very key as well. Things have changed. Things that were working over the past 5, 6, 7, heck, 10 years are no longer working in this environment. That doesn't mean there aren't unlimited opportunities on a daily basis that we show you on this very show. So understand that the market has changed. That doesn't mean there aren't opportunities for you. You simply have to understand what it is that works for you. Keep very, very, very clear records, guys. Great tips for how to stay calm, I guess, during a recession. Quickly, a little one, ISOVAX, ICVX. This is another vaccine stock. This is not monkeypox related, surprisingly, but ICVX just popped up. You can see a huge volume came in. This was down aftermarket yesterday after they released some data on one of their treatments that was not good, but back to the upside. You can see that was the down move. Back to the upside here all at once, guys, for ICVX.
Oh, they're doing better than Bed Bath & Beyond.
Still down 4%. Yeah.
Oh, so the perfect example of short sell restriction, which I was mentioning on Bed Bath & Beyond here was, so I was long. Oh, you can't, it's hard to see my red. I'll have to zoom out a little bit so you can maybe see the fill out. So I was long in front of 505 on Bed Bath & Beyond. It broke. I was able to get out at 98s, but I'm short at 96. So when you're long, you can sell. You can always sell out of your long shares, but you can't actually get that fill for the short side until we get a bit of an uptick. So as I tried to get the short trade, I got 96s. I scalped some out on the initial push down. It went as far as 92. I got some out at 93, it looks like. And I got some bids down to 90s. And again, a scalp trade mostly when you take a breakdown like this. But that's the problem with SSR. If the stock wasn't short sell restricted, I promise you, I'm out and I'm short at 98. And on a $5 stock, that actually matters. So you got to watch out for that. Bed Bath & Beyond, it held 5 all day long up until now. It is now falling apart. I guess it was already falling apart.
Yeah.
So it's falling apart even more, or whatever you want to use for that. On the other end of the spectrum is boring old Proctor and Gamble. I love you, Procter and Gamble. You know, Procter's been doing really well since a certain friend of ours left the company, Sean.
Yep, I noticed.
But I'm not going to say his name. That's kind of mean. But Proctor took out that high, continuing higher. What I love about this is all of a sudden, if the market holds the low and we test back to the highs by picking something relatively strong, A, I don't have to worry about it flushing as much, but B, I don't see any trouble this thing getting to 43s, making a nice steady climb to the upside. It was already up 1% when the market broke back up. It never threatened its low at any point in the day, and was a clean double top, like morning high, double top, hold support there, and still churning to the upside. But unfortunately, yeah, Bed Bath & Beyond has given up the ghost. Like, it was going to happen eventually, I suppose.
Okay, so new position alert here as we do as we preach there, man. I mean, look, we just talked about being patient, trying to trade a plan, and not getting too excited or too wrapped up with something. There comes Meta, man. I told you when we went, just before we did that little segment there, you know, we told you we were trying to get long if it came back in. It does come in. We do get that trade. So now we are long right here at 30. So that's the plan of action. We reloaded the long right there on Meta, and we're going to use the dump out here of 162. It didn't break yet. Let's see if it does. Obviously, if the market can take down these lows. And remember, I was like, oh, how choppy this is. I mean, still, you went right back to the high there, tried to go, and will it test the bottom? Very, very possible. So that's where, you know, you don't want one trade to be your last trade. So we could take a 30-cent hit here. It's, you know, and this goes back to your question, I believe it was Nathan. It's like, you know, some days you have to have the ability to identify this. Like, it's a roller coaster some days, man. And it's like, you know, up and down. And what I mean by that is not that it's fun that it's a roller coaster. I like roller coasters too, but I do notice that with my old age, I'm liking them a lot less. Like now it's like, my head. Like I used to ride that Mind Buster there just for fun in Canada's Wonderland. Like over and over and over again, that old wooden. And now it's like, I still like it.
You know what they call that?
What?
The butt buster.
But yeah, exactly. And like now, it's like I go on there with my kids. I'm like, holy, like get this thing to stop. Like, my head is like going crazy here. But you know, we use that same analogy here for the market. And it's just like, as the market goes, you got to be able to identify if your stocks are actually trending or not. What's happening? Look at this move we have in Meta. You can't even see. Hold on a second. Maybe let's move this up a little bit. Okay, thanks, Lucas. Look at this move we have in Meta there. Right, comes down to 160. And again, it's the same thing. We had our bid just sitting there. It's not like it came down there and I was like, boom, I want to buy it. I mean, part of that was that. But we take take that bid there, and then it just rips up. This is what you call direction, right? There's some momentum here with Meta. Right now, it's just like this. So, I don't want it to take down this 162 because if it does and I'm still sitting here holding, then, I don't really have an out until, and all of a sudden it's like, oh man, just this one random trade that I have here, I may have given back my whole day. So let's watch to see what happens here. As I say this, man, I'm out of the money 5 cents on this trade, but let's just see where it goes on Meta now. And I think you just have to plan your trade. So I do have some offers, and it's just like to the upside. If we can get up near 50, we'll take some out. This 50-period moving average is at 75, so we'll take some out there. And then, hey, if we can get back here, we won't make that mistake again and get it out at VWAP. The market is still trying to sort of barcode a little bit here. So watch out. If we break lower, we don't want to be in a name like Meta. Oh, which does bring me to one more thing before I wrap up. And oh man, I feel like Luca here. Just talk. But there's Microsoft right there, dropping back down below. It must be an Italian thing. There's our out at 260.50. And this is what I mean, man. Look, it saved us. It bounced to 260 there on VWAP and actually broke and went down 10 cents. So I may have even got out there. So just by getting out and having a plan of action on where we want to get out, sure, it doesn't look great, but just because I got out there doesn't mean I can't get out here. You don't have to wait for the same prices over and over and over again. So we take it out. Now let's see. And by the way, there goes Meta. Just went back into the money for us there. So hopefully it can come back up to the upside. We'll trade the bottoms, and we don't really want to diddle in the middle.
Don't diddle in the middle. Thank you guys for pointing out Beyond Meat. I was ranting on, not ranting, I was talking about Proctor and Gamble being relatively strong. Well, Beyond Meat's up 2% and took out the high. Now, if memory serves, I did read something this morning about some kind of a strip steak product that they're launching, which I wasn't all that interested in, quite frankly, but that seemed like it was a catalyst. It tanked like everything else in the market this morning, so I probably wrote it off at that point. But when you see a V-shaped bottom like this, you can always learn from this, right? When you get a whipsaw bottom at the open that breaks through, see this obvious 23, 30 area here, resistance, support, V-shaped bottom through. What you're looking for if you want to see something bullish, rejecting a bottom like that, is the second it holds that support level, great. Now you're looking for longs off this. Tries to take out the top. Who cares about that? You're not going to get this trade. It's this trade here. When it puts in that same low at that previous support on your 15-minute or your 20-minute or half or whatever the chart is on the higher time frame, it puts that support right back in after the whipsaw bottom. That's a long that you can have. You don't have to get the bottom, but you can participate in the move. It's a strong move to the upside. And I have to say this story, and I apologize in advance if you guys aren't interested, but Sean brought up the Great Canadian Mind Buster at Canada's Wonderland. My senior year in high school, I worked rides at Canada's Wonderland, and the Mind Buster was one of 2 rides in the park where you could reach the emergency lock restraint release if you knew where it was, and I worked there, so I did, from your seat inside the car, which meant, and when you operate the ride, it wasn't one of the automated ones where as the operator, though this one's gone, so you could release it and then ride just holding on to it. Now it's a wooden one, so it never went upside down.
Yeah, it doesn't go upside down.
But you're basically it's like riding a bull. Not that I've rode a bull before, but everyone that knew about it would just sit there doing that. I probably shouldn't say that out loud, but what are they going to do? I worked there 20-something years ago.
It's probably fixed now, I would hope.
Oh yeah, for sure it's fixed now.
Anyways,
there was all kinds of tricks that we used to know. Anyway, I shouldn't get into it, but
everybody, wherever you
for the record, by the way, that's an incredibly dangerous thing to do that no one should ever do. Obviously, it's stupid. I was young, so please do not release your restraint when you're riding on a ride. But I love Canada's Wonderland, and I can't wait to go back there, man. Six Flags, I've never been, but I've been to Universal.
Oh yeah,
down in Florida, man. There's nothing more fun than taking kids to the theme park because their eyes light up and whatnot. So I look forward to those lines. At some point when my daughter is old enough, I'm gonna ride this Proctor and Gamble until we get past 143. All we need is this market to go up. I feel like we got the right names here. Meta's been relatively strong. I got to find a way to get into Beyond Meat because that actually makes some sense to me, given the relative strength that it has. That we could be looking for that one to also continue its move. It's still a NASDAQ stock, Neil. But to continue its move, I'd like to be catching a pullback off VWAP because this breakout at the high is a weak break. It's not extending very far. And fundamentally, there's a fundamental difference between Procter and Gamble and Beyond Meat. One is a great company that makes a bunch of money. So I feel comfortable sitting long buying tops in a market like this. Beyond Meat, I don't. So I'd much rather be getting this back at support unless we get a big volume spike and we can start holding above this high of the day and maybe make a second move to the upside here. But there's plenty of trades to be had. I'm going to sit in this Bed Bath & Beyond until it reclaims 5 or just absolutely flushes again.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there, Frank. You were talking about Meta. I mean, it went 10 cents in the money for me and then failed at that 40 level. So, yeah, I agree. I mean, but nothing I can do. I'm in the trade, so we'll have to do that. And I'm going to, instead of dropping the mic, we'll drop the grenade because I feel like this is a really funny statement here made by Bill T. Beyond Meat is so terrible, I went from vegan back to meat eater. So that was fantastic. I really liked that one. I never really heard of anybody say that before, and we got a little laugh at Brendan there as well. So that was pretty funny. I did like that one there. Meat eater. So you went from a vegan back to a meat eater. That's classic, man. I really love that one.
That's just a huge jump right there.
That's a good one there. Yeah, it's like someone that goes backwards because they. That's huge. I like it. It's like, nah, forget about what I believe in. How dare they produce that Beyond Meat burger? That is great. But what's up to Ape Nation here as we have AMC on our mind right now. AMC just takes out the day's high. Like I didn't even. This has been off the radar a little bit. It should have been on the radar after a couple good moves. You traded this today? Oh, okay. Neil traded this today. I didn't realize. I didn't realize this. This was one of those names again here today. But AMC. Let's just do a little bit more work here. What happened yesterday to AMC? We were long before it dropped out and broke 1350. But again, good little long there on AMC. I don't know what we're doing in the pre-market on that, but okay, a nice little move up, and then we got dumped out there. AMC did nothing in the afternoon, pretty much. Failed at 14. So let's go over to today and see what happens here today on AMC. So yep. We're back in this name, so let's have a quick look. We're not in it, but this name is now moving around. 1361. So again, you're going to look at that and say, hey, that's yesterday's high again, right? And you won't be wrong. So, you know, you're going to look at that and not high, but that high right there in the afternoon of 1380. That could be a good stopping spot if you are long right now, or breakout to the high side. I don't know if the breakout's going to happen for us to the high side there on AMC, but again, worth looking at. Yeah, what are some of those bottoms? I don't know. I mean, today we broke 13 early. I don't know. Did you want to talk about that? Were you trying to defend 13?
I wish I was trying to defend 13. I wasn't. So we had a couple of longs. We took a breakout at 50 and scalped that. Then I had a wick off top. So we then supported the breakout price, which is 13 and a quarter. That long worked. I reloaded it and got wicked out. And then it just did something similar the other day. It just started holding VWAP. So I get right back into this silly thing. I keystroke out of it flat, and I know exactly what happened here. It bounced off of 1325. And at this particular moment, what I decided to do was move my stop tighter to 1325. I accidentally punch out. So I just get right back into position at 30. That's why you see these back to back. And then it just instantly runs that 25 stop. And then I make essentially the low at 1 o'clock. Like the 1 o'clock bottom was me getting out, and then it goes all the way back to the high. So obviously, my day on AMC now really stinks. I mean, like stinks big time. And by the way, when I was all comfortable about Proctor, huge pullback in Proctor there.
Huge pullback in a lot of things
Yeah,
right
I know
now.
The market's pulling back in. I see firm's okay, it's on those lows, and I got to fill on Bed Bath & Beyond. But yeah, the long that we're in just pulled right back. But guess what? That's kind of our support. What I want to see have happen, and I was scalping this out to make sure that we took some profit. Now I want to see us try to hold. The previous consolidation was 142.10. So that to the high, which is about 35.40, that's where I want to see us try to consolidate here. But wow, this is why you try to pay yourself on the way up, because this market, as usual, looking weak. I might just have to hold on to our shorts at the end of the day. Brendo.
Just an interesting note, guys, from the FCC. This is from CNBC. The FCC sending a letter to the CEO of both Apple and Google, asking the two companies to remove Tick-Tock from their app stores over data security concerns. So not necessarily going to move the stock, but interesting note for Apple and Google.
Yeah, man, I wish we had. No, that would move the stock, I think. I mean, that's a pretty big. TikTok, I think, is the most downloaded app. So
if it's not one, it's
okay.
close.
I just want to give you an update there because there goes Microsoft. Oh, and by the way, it's too bad because we were right here, and I wanted to sort of highlight it if we had an opportunity to. Was going to be this take that we had on Meta because you're 100% right, man. I mean, that didn't want to go. There's my long at 30. We did get half out. when it went up to 415 there, as we were just talking, because the market was, I mean, breaking these levels there, broke. So we did, I don't know if this is going to be right for Meta or not, but I don't know why, but these markets right now are definitely coming back in. That Tick-Tock news is pretty interesting there for data security reasons. I mean, that was, okay, don't at me for this, but if you remember, President Trump was trying to take that away from the Chinese. If you guys remember, I think it was it Oracle or Qual? It was Oracle had a bid out there for them. I believe Softy did as well, so that they can control that data a little bit more. And again, so just let everyone know that was something that was talked about past administration. So whether or not they were onto something, maybe they were. And always sometimes where there's smoke, there's fire. But, you know, I don't know if that's anything to be concerned about. Just one of those things, again, that, you know, we all got to recognize. So there it is. But there's the out on Meta. Look how far that dropped down. 161.70. You know, like, look at that wick there. And now you're starting to bump back up to the upside. Oh, man, that sucks. We miss out on that trade, but that's fine. No doubt, there it goes back up to the upside. I still don't mind Meta, but I feel like now it's got to take this 162.50 level. Oh, all the way back up. Taking that was about 15 cents. That's a 15-cent hit there on half, and then another half out there for that 30 cents full when we took down 162. So, yeah, that one's going to be a loser for us. We're still up, obviously, on Meta. I mean, Meta's one of my best stocks today, but yeah, that sucked right there. We never like to take a hit at the end like that. So we'll watch it out, but yeah, Meta right now trying to make some moves back down, and then Microsoft also cranking lower and lower. So watch out for Microsoft as it's trying to get below some of these levels as well. 259.60 was that wick.
Gonna ring the register a little bit is Bed Bath & Beyond. Obviously, I lost on that long trade, but at least we're able to get it back, mostly, as it goes down to 91. But I've adjusted my stop here because a break at 5 is really running out of steam. So the second I got this fill, saw it wick down, and then immediately show strength right back into our entry, I'm just saying to myself, if it gets back above 5, I don't want this anymore. And essentially, when you get a flush like that, what you want to have happen is you run some serious stops, which you expect at $5, and I want it to capitulate. And at no point has it actually done that. It's actually finding a little bit of a bid here. So I'm getting a little bit conservative with this. Just going to cover if it gets back above $5. I don't want to give it all back on a trade like that, where essentially, you know, it doesn't do what you want it to do. You had ample opportunity to get out. I've scalped half of it out anyway, so just going to cover. And by the way, when we got that pullback in Proctor and Gamble, Beyond Meat, which I said fundamentally isn't as strong, barely dipped. So yeah, I mean, say what you want about it. I don't think it tastes bad. I actually think it's too expensive. That's one of the other problems too. Price, nutrition, and taste. Those are the three things they get right. You get all three of those things correct, and at some point, I believe it's going to be a winning product. And there's going to be a shift long term. But I mean, you got to get at least one of those three things right, and they're not there yet. But it's held that breakout essentially, like at 24.10. It's around that breakout. The dip support was the 24.10 on the break of the high of the day, and yeah, we're still above that. So maybe I don't wait around for VWAP on Beyond Meat. If this is going to hold that level, maybe I just want to grab some quarters here if I can get them and jump into this party, because relative strength is what it is. If I'm going long, it's got to be something that's shown me it wants to hold up a little bit here. And oddly enough, Beyond Meat just did that for me. Brendo?
A couple things. First off, Tesla, guys, just popping up on a volume scanner. You can see at the bottom there, volume coming in. Might just be a technical break back to the upside. Just checking on Tesla for any reason for this. You might want to have a look at Twitter as well. This one also, AEMD, Athlon Therapeutics or Athlon Medical. Big move up here on volume. This one actually reported earnings yesterday. Didn't do anything throughout the day today, but nice move for AEMD. And then Tesla back to the upside.
You've really ignored Tesla today, really.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't look at Tesla today for sure. Oh, man. I mean, this move up in the market, and this is what we're talking about. Like, you know, when you're trading some levels, you know, you got to respect them, and it's just about sticking to your rules. So there goes Meta. I mean, I don't have a problem showing it to you. It's back up to that 162.40 level, which would have put us in the, obviously, where our long was what it was down there at a nice price that we had long for Meta, man. We had 162.30, got out for half for 15-cent loss, and then the other half for 30, and then there's the spike right back up. And I was like, oh, man, what a good out that was. Remember? It was down to 161.70. So, yeah, I guess not a great out after all, but still, a nice little move there. So let's see where it goes now. Downside move possibly here for Meta, so we can get longer, but it doesn't look like that's the case. So we're just going to go over here to Apple. This name here, we're long. It just broke the 50 period. You do have above VWAP here at 139.25. And then again, you know, that wick down wasn't, I mean, this was not as violent. Like Meta is violent name. Apple is not violent name. So we'll see how this one wants to go. The wicks on it are just much more reasonable on Apple, and it's not even about the wicks. It's just like those pushes down on this name. I just feel a little bit better after looking at this and just how we got taken out there on Meta. That let's just hold the long here on Apple. You're above the 50 period right here, and hopefully momentum now changes for that trade. So we're gonna do that, and we'll just see where we go. So right now we're long on Apple against this 130. It's gonna be that very bottom, man, 139 right there. And this is what we're talking about like running stops and so on and so forth. It's like, you know, like no one's running this stop for me on Meta. It comes down to 162, takes me out, and then goes another 40 cents lower. So, you know, that's why I don't really consider that to be one of those situations. But all right, just for Apple, it just bounced off 50 there. So that's actually went to 53. Let's get out. If it does that one more time, we'll get out of a third of this trade. If it does bring it back up to this 50 level, which it almost does. There it is right there. So we'll go, yeah, making a little bit of money back. I mean, there's our 15 cents back there that we lost on that first piece of Meta. Let's see if it can go back up to the upside on Apple. So again, just taking some pieces out. This market, but I mean, you want to talk about choppy, you know, we've already said the roller coaster ride is here, and I just feel like that's what's happening now. You just made that wick bottom there about what? This is the futures, right? Like it takes a lot of money to make these moves, right? So like the futures go down there, and then what, 10 minutes later, it's now upside after what, 1, 2, 3, about 6 straight up candles, and now you're gonna turn back around here? Like there's no news coming out. This is just positioning here. So, you know, again, look, the market comes down, Apple's staying relatively high here. So I'm gonna like sort of park my trade here with Apple and see if this is the one that takes us to the promised land. Let's look at like a 139.80 as our next out.
Yeah, speaking of the promised land, Tesla, which Brendan just mentioned, just broke that 680 level, or away from that 680 level. It wasn't a break at that price, but bouncing off VWAP at 78, and then right up to 87. So a big volume spike on Tesla, which that's a good sign of strength there. On volume, I like this back around this reentry if we can catch it. However, and this it's not necessarily revenge trading, but it's just noticing how strong this AMC is. Now, we just took out the high of the day, so anyone taking that break, it was about 67 or 68. It gets a couple of pennies and then tries to pull back. So I'm going to jump on the bid for this dip. There is one concern if I have it, not on the daily chart, because this is us right here. If I zoom in further, this is it trying to hold and close above the 50 period. I always love that, right? At about 1345. But the other problem here is, remember 1380. That was a big level for support and then resistance in the afternoon yesterday. And I know we were looking at that 1380 on the afternoon show. So we probably remember that if you were watching yesterday. When it tried to break out at that price and flushed, it couldn't do it. And then GameStop ran $4 instead. And I was like, why the heck did that happen? Why didn't AMC go and why did GameStop go? So we have to watch out for that level. So I'll buy some in front of the 50s here. Maybe get some low 60s, mid 50s. I got a couple bids there, actually 56 and 58 and 62. Oddly enough, and try to grab that and then get some out in front of 80. So scalp a bit out in front of that 80, and that way if it takes the high, I'm not taking a high break that was an absolute failed break yesterday. Like it was a horrible breakout to have had. So I'll go that route, trying to buy the dip just like in Beyond Meat there. And if we can get it, we can get it. If I have to grit my teeth and take less size on an 80 break, maybe I'll do that. But for now, I want to just try to sit on the bid to get a piece of this in AMC. Affirm, I feel like when the market is doing this, which is not picking a direction, if you got something which is maintaining its weakness, what I should be doing is trying to get back in. I don't think I'm getting VWAP again, so I might look at 19s to reload and then continue to try to hold this through the low of the day. If the market falls apart, I know what I'm going to be sitting in at 350 when the imbalances come out or right before they come out. It's going to be in a firm short and something crazy has happened. Maybe Bed Bath & Beyond, but that's feeling less and less likely because it continues to not fall apart. Like, it's crazy. It does not want to... look, I guess it's already done too much, right? Pre-market dollar move down, right at the open, big 10% move from $5.50 to $5. So the $5 break, sometimes the stock is so beaten up, it's like all the selling has been done here today. So you're just getting these small little scraps.
Okay, isn't that just funny? I wasn't here at the meeting, but remember you guys had a meeting about, let's focus on Tick-Tock. Yeah. So there you go. That's hilarious.
What are the odds of that?
Yeah, not great, the odds on that one. So there you go. That's just hilarious. Like, we spin our wheels here doing absolutely useless stuff like that. Okay, all right, here goes Apple back up 139.40. We just missed... It's so stupid. Like, I was waiting at 139.25. You know, it went down to 139.27 there, or else we would have got long. It still could come back in, but I mean, just noticing that we were trying to sit in front of VWAP there, which was 25. It literally came to 27. I was sitting there on the bid, like, okay, here we go. We'll get some more Apple long. I put my stop order in, and then we never got filled. So right now we're back into the money, an amazing 5 cents on Apple. But let's see if it goes up higher than this. Obviously, we just indicated where we like the trade down there at 139.25. So yeah, that's what I'm wondering too, Derek Spy. Now, I hope a lot of the free $5 memberships extend through, and I want to give a big thanks again for those this morning. So big time. Thank you so much for that. Did anyone notice Revlon? I mean, I noticed that no one's talking about that today. Yeah, talked about a stock that's back into bankruptcy right now. $4 now for Revlon, as it's just been pretty nasty all the way back down into the downside. We talked about that breaking that 650 shelf. I mean, the minute that broke, it was basically see you later on the downside there. Here's 650 right in here. And yeah, down. So that's actually 550. 650 is up here, right into here. Once we broke that level, this guy right there, you could see it's been a little downside move there for Revlon. So you're now below the 50 period, and I guess you got to wait for some more tweets to come out or something about interest in this name. Yeah. Obviously, the guy is not going to pay $10 for it. It went up to 10. We'll see where it goes. If there is interest in Revlon, I don't want to say this name is dead because you've just given back 40%. So, you know, if there was talk about some buying at 7, 8, 9, maybe there should be more at $4. So we'll see where Revlon goes, but I did want to identify that for a lot of you traders out there that may be stuck in Revlon. I don't really have a plan of action for you. I mean, 350 maybe there is that level right there. I don't know. You trade your own book on this one. Revlon looks like it wants to continue its move to the downside. So that's what that stock is. I just wanted to cover it because we haven't looked at that in a while there.
Oh, yeah, good point here from is Ideal and NYSE. Oracle in trouble for Tick-Tock. Yeah, because Oracle, one of the things that happened when all that hullabaloo, nonsense went on with data security is eventually they said we're going to store everything on Oracle servers so it's not CCP getting their eyeballs on it. So that's been a good deal for Oracle. So if they get pulled or Tick-Tock gets punished, then that's not a good thing for Oracle, unfortunately. This AEMD that just popped up here. The float's 15 million shares. Not heavily shorted, but it does have a pretty small float. So watch out for this. On the daily, it just turned at $1.56, and you can see right here where your obvious line in the sand is, and it's at like 50, 59, 60 bucks or $1.60 here. So that's what I'm watching. And anytime you see something like this, it's late in the day to just go over and pay for shorts. I haven't even checked the story or the news on this, but I immediately looked up and said, okay, where does it make sense? People are going to start taking some profit here. So that 160 looked like it was that good line in the sand. Looks like there was a ton of liquidity and buyers in the 135 range. So if you're looking for any chance at a dip, that'll be it. I see about 75,000 shares on the offer at 46. There's a decent amount of size. Someone's selling it right here, right now. So it might actually get down to that 135 zone. I did get Beyond Meat. So we got our other dip buy there. We got the Proctor dip buy. That's actually working out a little bit, but I just got into Beyond Meat here, catching that. When the market pulled back, Beyond Meat barely went down. So kind of figured, why wait for VWAP if it's showing you it's a little bit strong? Proctor, I said we'd reload that a little closer down toward VWAP, that 142.20. I just grabbed some down there. Now I'm priced at 31, so in front of 20s, I should say, 31s. Took some out. I've been selling every time in front of 142.60 for whatever reason. I guess it's just in my head. I've been taking 58s every time. I don't know why. But if it gets back toward this high of the day, the way this market is going, if we're rejecting the top on the ES, I might just take this out. We're getting late enough in the session, and we're not screaming to the upside here that we might want to grab that profit. And AMC, yeah, I never actually got that dip buy. There it is, through high a day. It just took that 1380 level from yesterday. And for now, it looks like it might be trying to fail that break. So anticipating that was what we thought could happen because 80 was good resistance, I'm going to back off the bid here, but my plan would be to try to get it still at that 60 to 65. I just don't want to sit on the bid. I want to see how it comes down there. If it flushes in like one 5-second move, I probably don't want it. But if it glides back down and holds 60s, yeah, then I want it at that same price. But I did try to get on the bid, couldn't catch it. Congrats to all the apes out there. AMC, that's your stock breaking highs.
Yeah, we're in AMC, so we bought that 1380. Apple goes all the way to 139.70 right there. Sorry, 66 and then stops. So we're sitting at 70 now. Actually 69. We're sitting there now. I thought it went to 70, so I was down taking a penny, but I guess it only went to 66 on that move. And by the way, don't let me look at Meta because look at this. That's where we got out. That's where it is now, 163. So Meta up $1, which is fine. Still a positive name for us today. But wow, look how bad that wick is down there. But you got to find these wick off bottoms like that. If you ever see something like that, that's a pretty good indication there that maybe there was some excitement there. Blown out, and then boom, some of the big buy candles of the day happen right in there and sell at the same time for Meta. So, okay, that's that. Yeah, we did miss that reload on Apple. Let's see where we go. AMC, so we took that high. It only went in the money 4 pennies or so. Let's see, we're long at 81. It does break that level from yesterday. We talked a little bit about that. Let me just drop this down to a 3-minute chart here for you, and then we'll get it from there. But there it is right here. That's that 13. I guess it really went right to the yesterday's high, afternoon high. That's again, just meaning the afternoon high, 1385 there. So almost to the penny it goes. I'm going to try to respect this. We'll just see when it wants to move. Look at it on this 50 period, just straight upside. You weren't really in trouble until it cracked all the way below the 50 period here at 14. So we're going to do the same thing again here. Watch it. If it breaks back down below 1350, then we're going to get out of AMC. But for now, we're going to be long that name. No real targets. If we can get a 90, fine. We'll take a dime. Then we'll take 20 cents. If it goes up to 14, but definitely watch out. There's a lot of consolidation up here on AMC, like 1410 up to, forget about that blowout, but right there about 1450. So, between 14 and 1450, there's some up and down and some indecision making there from yesterday's close. So we'll watch that. But right now, AMC, we're in it. We'll watch it. It's at 81. We're flat on the trade. So let's go on that. And then again, Apple, 69 is our out. So if that wants to come into the upside, we'll take that, even though that high is 66. But anyways, we'll watch to see where Apple goes. Like to reload this if we stay above this 50 period.
I got you, Pedram. I was actually going to talk about Tesla anyways. I was looking for 680s on this little dip pullback that we had. And I grabbed Beyond Meat on the dip, grabbed Proctor and Gamble on the dip. I was looking maybe closer to VWAP or 680. Tesla almost too strong for that. So it ends up this 82, lower high from the morning. I guess the resistance on this 2 o'clock move, right when we came on, this backed off of 682. Now it's just in this tight consolidation range. And there's only there's pretty much two ways you can play this, maybe 3, let's call it. I don't like the breakout up here, unfortunately, because the market has shown the inability to get through the high. So you can either go long 83s in front of an 82 stop, really tight, or you're just waiting for this one to break down and then give you a chance at that 80 level. So I'm going to be pretty patient with it. I've already got a couple of dip buys, and I really would like to get into AMC as well, and that continues to run higher without even picking me up there, and that's the one I wouldn't take the breakout. So I don't want to put a 4th trade on when really I might have 2 shorts, but I don't even count Bed Bath & Beyond because it's not going to go anywhere at this point. I don't feel like it has the juice to get too much further to the downside, but as long as it's below 5, I want to have it. But there's AMC, right? Like, there was your break. It dipped, missed me by 1 or 2 cents. The last dip missed me by about 3 or 4 cents, and now it wants to continue to run higher. What it has done, however, is now held and broken above that 1380 price. So what was resistance before, we've now held above that price. And what I like about that is it gives me some cover to at least have the long up here because it's showing me some strength. So I can chase this for a third and grab like the mid 80s, allowing for the fact that I still want to be a buyer at 86. But I just don't like a breakout that failed yesterday. So we're now through and clear that high. I think you can add on dips here. GameStop as well, by the way. This one's starting to go. In addition, it just took out VWAP. It's on the march to a 125 high, it looks like. This not quite as strong as AMC, but definitely showing the same signs of breakout here. 123 holding up pretty nicely. So if you're watching both of these two names, both looking very, very strong. Beyond Meat's coming back up here. The market's showing you all the signs in the world that it wants to go. We just got to clear those highs of the day. Remember what we said? It's not going to happen without Apple. What's that wick on the chart? Apple, as you can see, I can't zoom out. It's not going to help.
Oh, my God, Meta.
Apple pulling back into VWAP, and that's why we can't take out these tops. You can't break highs on the ES, the S&P 500, without the big boys showing some signs of strength.
It's crazy. Like, I went over to Apple as opposed to Meta, and then you see what's happening right there. Man, that's pissing me off. Also, AMC, we'll talk about that in a minute. I keep thinking it's like eyelashes. I don't know. My eyelashes are growing out of control here. But we just, like, I was at 90 for AMC. It went to 89. Like, it's just so stupid, some of these trades today for me, man. Like, they need to hit, and they're not. So that sucked right there, that we missed that opportunity there on AMC. But shoot, man, don't fade out now. Get back. Hopefully it can come back inside right there. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I'm waiting now at 87 to see if we could get that out. You're in it?
Yeah, well, it broke. It like held above 80, right? Which
yeah. We're long 80s too. But
80 was such a burn yesterday that like it was frustrating. So I wanted to see it clear that price. Once it got in held above 85, I got in. And I'm still watching Tesla here, even though I said I don't want to add this to the list of little dip buys on the trend to the upside because we got a few longs here. But yeah, it looks like it wants to break out as well.
We're going to get out of some Apple here right now, just near 60. I mean, I've had, honestly, the luck here. Let's just capture some profits and then finish the day at our highest spot and then not keep doing all these crazy, rhetoric things here. Because honestly, like, I'm already a little bit on tilt because we nailed this meta trade, but for some reason it got really excited there and wanted to take down that 162 before ripping up $1.50. So that part's a little upsetting, but that's okay. That's okay. The 10 Sean commandments. Thank you to Rolling Records for that. And that is like, calm down. You'll be fine on that one. And yeah, so that sucks. And then we switched over to Meta there and then missed that trade, or not Meta, Apple, sorry. That's a 3-minute chart. And then missed that trade right here another time. What? It just went down. I better not keep looking. Like, now on Apple, no word of a lie. I'm at 27 here on Apple. It just ticked down to 29 again. So we just missed another long, but hey, that's trading. We all miss fills, and that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, that happens, but there it is again. Another miss. Oh, come on. Another miss on that reload multiple times. So now let's just go to 40 and forget about it here. And that time it's going to run us over, right? So that's frustrating, but okay, let's just move on it. As now AMC goes right back to flat pretty much. This needs to go back up. Give me that 87 print. As there goes Apple. Finally, man, 30 cents in the money on this one as that's starting to go back to the upside. But man, to miss that fill again on that sucks. And then now AMC's all the way back to flat. The market's going rocket higher here. I like the trade. Look at Microsoft as well. Missed opportunities at those bottoms, but still, we're only back to where we got out on Microsoft. So Microsoft's a good one. Bought there, bought there, bought there. Boom, 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 boom. Selling to the upside. So, this is what I'm saying. Cry me a river, basically, to myself, because today's been a big day. We have tons of winners on board. We're only red on one name, guys. One name red, AMC pending here, and that's going to be NEO. And I was really happy with that because we did call the 23-22 top. Unfortunately, it took us out there before dropping back down. So NEO definitely made the mistake today, but oh man, I wish I didn't see that. I just missed that Apple as well because that kind of sucks. But there goes Apple. Let's just see if it takes out the highs, 140.50.
I don't understand. You got to be liking it today, man. Like, the longs are actually starting to come in here. I got Proctor heading back to the high. Just took some Beyond Meat off the high of the day. Yet somehow we're not managing to get to 1,000 likes, which is crazy.
We will easily. How many do we have?
Look, we're, I think 600 or something like that.
Let's go.
This market, if you're not happy about the fact that the longs are starting to print, even AMC is going up here, GameStop's making some runs. On top of that, we're able to get some low floaters in there to talk about, giving some pretty good advice, I'd like to think, on how to not have FOMO get the best of you, how you can navigate emotions. And if we take out the high of the day, that is quite the move. Remember, we had a bad GDP print this morning. Was anybody feeling that great about the fact that everyone was talking about recession and we had disappointment on GDP? And now we have the opportunity for the futures to break out potentially through these highs. NASDAQ's been coiling all day. The ES has just been coiling all day. I'm not saying we're going to take out those highs, but giddy up if Apple can do this, because that would be a power move to the upside. That being said, even if we don't, there are still longs that are working right now, as evidenced by the ones that we're putting on. I think there's always a trade out there. But I think what we all want to have happen is this little tiny consolidation that we're seeing all day long break out the top. And even better if it was a buy and bounce in the next couple of minutes. That couldn't hurt us at all. That would also mean that my shorts get taken out. But you know what? At this point, I got mostly longs in here, so I would want a firm to stop out at some point. I've been sitting in it short all day long. If this is going to win out, it means the 3 longs I have lose. So obviously, I can't really want that to happen, but I've been shorting a firm all day. I'm not going to reload anymore. There's actually a buyer at 105, sorry, 1905 here for 100,000 shares. I just looked over on the bid. This gets above VWAP. I'm taking this one out. I don't want this getting past my entry price, as a matter of fact. I don't want to lose on the last portion of this trade. Starting to show some strength. The market booming to the upside. Got to be able to take off these shorts.
So we took an 86 here just for 10% out on AMC. So now our next level is going to be 98, and we'll see. And I think that, I don't know if it was Sparky Trader or who it was, it's the same thing for me too, man. I'm getting frustrated too that, all these little scalp, stupid BS trades, right? So I just wonder, that's why I'm trying to hold on. I mean, look, we're 75 cents in the money now for Apple, and we missed that reload there. That really is what sucks, but we're still going to the upside house. Here goes Apple. So this was a great trade for us. And the Meta trade was still fine. I mean, we've made a lot of money on Meta today, but maybe we should be zooming out a little bit more and seeing something here on a larger time frame. So yeah, that's, there's no doubt about that. This is what happens when you trade. You look at these time frames, but for me, honestly, I really feel like, and thanks for the advice, and I do take it all seriously. It's just if you have too many shares at certain levels, you have to get out. And it's just it broke there, and I didn't have enough, sort of gumption to hold that all the way down, because I don't really see anywhere else to do that. Even if I go to a 5-minute chart or something here on Meta, this is a 5-minute chart. I don't, where do I mean, and I guess I'm holding it for 160, I don't know, 160 break, it's too far. It looks really great because the market bumped up. There's no doubt about that, right? But at the same time, the market could have gone the other way, and then those outs look pretty good. So yeah, I'm still going to trade my book, but I do understand that, hey, you know what? All in all, sometimes you got to use a little bit larger time frames, and I do understand that. I mean, that's
3:30 though.
That's part of the why. Yeah, and it's 3:30, so we don't hold overnight. So that is another thing. It's going to sound like excuses, but they're not. This is just simply telling you that, yeah, I do understand what you're saying, and sometimes I do get caught, a little bit here looking at some of these trades. So we'll watch out for Meta. Now would be in the money $2, but it's not. Apple's the good one for us, up 43 cents. AMC still struggling to take down $14. So we'll wait for AMC to see where that one wants to go. But Brendan, what's up?
Just seeing Save. Anyone tracking this Spirit Airlines deal? There were some comments from JetBlue just coming out saying they're 100% committed to getting this deal done. JetBlue encourages Spirit holders to vote against the Frontier deal. JetBlue highlights third-party recognition of superiority of JetBlue transaction. Anyways, Save, guys, just popping up here on volume, but saying all the right things is JetBlue.
Yeah, look, at this point, I don't know what's going to happen that's going to make people believe in that deal or even have the company remotely accept it. The bottom line is nobody thinks that they can get it through regulatory, and that's why it trades $10 or $8 lower than what JetBlue is offering. Even though it's a vastly superior deal to Frontier's, that doesn't matter if it can't get put through and it can't get any kind of support from the board there. So there's really not much to say about that, although I guess it's a decent spec. if you want to pop it in. I think the off chance, I mean, you're getting 50% premium or something like that. But then you could also just get the same kind of premium buying Twitter. And I'd call that a coin flip as well. So some of these deals, it's a bit of a trap when you look at that deal spread. Tesla is starting to come back in here. So of course, that move decides to fade out. And just as I get out of a firm, remember I said I'm going to get out of a firm, I don't want it to break out. Well, that buyer at 1905 then put their 100,000 shares up to 1915. So I just got out. It wasn't a losing trade, but I was looking to cover this thing anyways, feeling like it was going to break. It then wakes up and then fails immediately the second that guy gets his fill, that big 100,000 share order, and then the market reverses as well. So the stock that I'm sitting and shorting all day long just puts a wick off top, and I was basically a part of that wick off top. So I'm not holding it anymore, and now the longs want to come reversing in. Beyond Meat just started to come back in. That's the kind of market it gives you. Got to the high of the day, got a little out, now we're reversing back in. I don't want to be reloading these. Now all of a sudden you're looking at an opportunity where, okay, well, what does it make sense to hold on to? We have 25 minutes before we have to get flat. Imbalances are due in about 15 minutes. So loading back in at anything but a perfect price does not make sense at this time of day. So I don't like quarters anymore on Beyond Meat. I got to get 15s and knowing that I'll have a relatively tight stop on it. And same thing with AMC. I don't want to be buying all the way down to 50s when we just failed and the market turned at exactly the same time. It's even Proctor and Gamble here, which was looking pretty good. It gets right up to the high and now reverses. If I'm not getting 20s, I don't want to buy back into this thing again. And that counts same thing for Tesla if it breaks down into VWAP. You got to be very careful here. And I'm kicking myself because I should have just stayed in a firm, realistically. That was kind of stupid. They have negative catalysts this week. They broke major levels here today. All it was one guy on the bid, and it was at VWAP, and it was still in the money, and I decided to cover it. And now I'm going to look like a jackass for having done so.
That's okay. Yeah.
I just thought the market was about to break out. I'm like getting all happy about it.
I mean, I was just looking at that Apple trade and was like, okay, here we go. I know I have a little bit of a better price than you on AMC here, but none of these prices are going to matter as AMC coming back down in right now, right to that VWAP. So I said I'd get out if it broke it. I'm going to do a little bit more here and go to 1365 right now on AMC. So if it takes down that level, then we are going to get out of AMC 1365. I was giving it a little bit lower. And the reason why is, and again, we'll give it a little bit lower than that as I'm just putting the order in right now. But, you know, yesterday we talked about it on that big move when it has big moves. You know, on the way down, we respect those levels. And then on the way up here when it was really rallying, it kept hitting it, bouncing before eventually having some trouble there and then there again. So, you know, on this move up right now, you know, you wanted to get it sort of when we started to break the 50 period down here, which was 1330. So we're late to the party. There's absolutely no doubt about that. But let's see where it goes now, back up to the upside here, hopefully anyways for AMC. But you are dipping down and bouncing around this. The 70 is the level. So if you just tick it down a little bit more, man, that's 65 right there. So let's see where AMC goes. We obviously took some out there. It was only 10%. So it's going to be a losing trade. I wish we took out 50% at that level for only 8 cents or whatever it was. But yeah, definitely 1365 there for AMC. Here comes Apple kind of screaming back in now, touching the 50 period. I'm still going to try to be patient and buy down here, like I said already. So hopefully that can come out. But look at the 50 period. It's really strange. Like, it's really starting to level off now. That was a big move down. So just like that's a big move up, here's the retracement all the way back. So just be careful with some of these bids that you have that are out there in the market. This could be a tricky one coming into the close. Brendan just let us know, I guess from Financial Juice, Prad's back in his seat so he can check this out for us as well. But the imbalances are a buy, but only 180 million to the buy side. So pretty small on the buy side right now for those imbalances that come out in 15 minutes. And Neil and I have to be flat at the end of every day. So that's another thing that some of you new traders need to understand is that we're flat. So these are not swing trades. We're in them. And if they don't work, then we're flashing out. Yeah, we have to cover positions. We can't hold past overnight. Sometimes you can get stuck, but you still have to cover in the aftermarket to the best of your abilities. I see ALNA. This was a big runner early today, but it really gave it up. I thought it had a chance to get to 50, where I'm pretty sure I paid for shorts. I'll double check, but I thought it had a chance to get to 50, where I liked it on the daily chart for a reversal. Put in a double top at 42, and I wouldn't be buying into this one. It's not breaking trend.
here at all. All it's doing essentially is it's just finding a base at every support level, right? Like it found a base at the morning support at 31 cents, and then it found a base at the morning at the opening range breakout at 26.5 cents, and then the pre-market and almost like 9 o'clock bounce was about 23.5, and then it bounced off that. So it's essentially putting in like textbook bounces while holding lower highs the way through. What'll be more interesting is if tomorrow off 20 cents. You can still see it maintain that price, because that was all kinds of support going all the way back into April. So if you can hold that on your higher time frame, you've got a good level at that 20 cents, going back into the aftermarket yesterday, going back on your daily chart. So defending that level on a fresh day tomorrow would make some sense. I know where my stop would be. I know where I'd be wrong. And there's time for it to work. That's the other part. I can't hold it overnight. So I wouldn't be doing that. I'd be waiting for tomorrow. But I got to start thinking about getting out of some of these longs. I got my stop in place everywhere except for, where is it? No, I do have my stop. On Proctor. I got stops on all three of these, so I really don't have to worry about it. Proctor looks like it wants to take out that 142. AMC, I got a 1365 stop on it. Beyond Meat looks like it wants to try to run these stops as well. I'm just sitting right below this 24.10. So I guess they're all taken care of. And the one short that I was like, this ain't gonna work. Yeah, of course, like, right? Like, yeah, Bed Bath & Beyond is moving down, like, whatever. I gave up on this thing, and now it's gonna be the one that decides it wants to go late, so. We'll see. I mean, I'm going to hang on to it. If it breaks above $5, I'm out. We'll just see if it can't get back toward those lows, depending on what the market does here. But it's not exactly screaming to the downside.
No, it is not. Right now, we took another bid there on Apple, so we'll be able to see what's happening there. Tide is being added today. So yeah, that's a spinoff. Yeah, so BBIG spinoff. What's his name? What's your name again? Trader Prad, right. Trader Prad there gave us this news here. So let's check out Vinco Ventures there as he goes. The Creamsicle Kid is in the building one more time. So forget my name like that. Bro, it's a joke, bro. I mean, I look at you every day.
Was it though?
Okay, yeah, was it though, Prad? Okay, so let's just go here. All right, just making sure that we have the right fills here for us as we go.
I didn't know the symbol. It's TYD.
Yeah, Tide. Yeah, so that's going to get spun off today, or tomorrow. But BBIG today downside right now, down up to 199 upside, but still down 3% here. Let's just see what BBIG. Why can't I scroll anymore? Okay, that's why. It's just nice. That's why the stock is down. We opened up north of 2 and then made a move back in. So that Tide spinoff happening, I guess, today, it looks like there. So we'll see. But right there, downside, there's BBIG. It's right at these bottoms again. So I don't know. I don't know enough about Vinco Ventures. There's a lot of people on the chat here that do. So watch out for that one. TYDE could be, it's not able to trade yet, right? So no. So that'll come out tomorrow, looks like, as an addition to the Russell 2000. TYDE, I guess, is going to be that symbol.
Yeah, and I mean, it's sort of not really doing a heck of a lot there, but I have it up now. I got it right. Someone just said, get out of your Bed Bath & Beyond.
Spin off Friday.
I intend on getting out of Bed Bath & Beyond, but at 350 when the bounces come out, I usually like to get flat on anything that isn't going anywhere, so I'll probably do that manually in the next 5 to 10 minutes or so. But otherwise, I have a stop in place and I have take profit. So there's really not a reason, I think, to do anything that harsh or rash in there. I trailed out of Proctor and Gamble, so it's been strong all day. But the last thing you want to have happen in a case like this is turn winning trades into losers, right? Like there were good dip buys in there, but we couldn't take out the top and the market gave it up. Is Proctor still relatively strong? Yeah, it's going to end up looking like it is, but it's still not going up at this point. Wish I'd thought about shorting it, but I didn't. So you got to be able to move on there. I do have stops on AMC 65, Beyond Meat. I think just below 10, which is 3 cents away from that one stopping out. And then $5 on Bed Bath & Beyond. I don't see any other trades in there.
There we go.
We did talk about Tesla. That doesn't look like it even wants to give you a 680, so still holding up above that level. That's a good level for Tesla lately. It's been choppy around that price, but it tends to run away from it pretty well. So if you can find entry points in either direction off that level, usually good things can happen on Tesla.
Okay, so loaded up here again for us on this name. So let's see where we go now on Apple. So we get a 30 bid. We're ready for you, Apple. So let's see if that does come in right now. Again, for Apple coming in. So if it prints, great. We have that 139 out. We don't want that to be tested, of course. But if it is, it is. And we're going to wait to see what happens now with Apple. So we get that one. What did I say? We got that 139.30 bid. So now we're going to wait wait to see where it goes. Downside 139 break. We're going to be out of Apple. That's already in. We're ready to rock and roll on that one. So a new position for us on Apple. It just came right back in. We could check out AMC. That kind of floated back up a little bit, putting me back to flat. So we're back in. We're flat, whatever. I'm down 3 pennies. We're long at 81, back up to 78. Let's see if the volume can get extended here on Apple and we can make another move back up to that upside, or sorry, on AMC, if that can move back up to the upside. But there goes Apple. We are long 139.30. I thought I had an offer around 40 to get out, which I do. So just print me at 40. Honestly, don't do this one more time. Ever since I said nobody's running stops, okay, there it is, 40. That's not a stop anyways at 40, but there it is. Now let's see if we go back up to the upside. Yo, nameless man, chill out over there. And now we're going to go back up to the long side here on Apple. Hopefully it can get up 139.80, something like that, back up. But right now we are long in Apple. Now in the money, 15 pennies. That's good for me. It's not normally, but the way Apple's been trading today, we'll take it. So hopefully we get a nice little upside move here in AAPL, and then the rest will be history. So upside now, Apple. There it is. Another out at 50. Yes, sir. Man, we Gronk spike this one here. Just because it's finally going. Who knows if we take a hit on this or not, but out at 50 there, that's 20 more pennies. So all we're kind of doing right now is just stacking the cash, and hopefully we can end the day at our highest spot, which for now looks like we may be able to do that. AMC and Apple pending here for a big, big day for me, man. Only negative stock today is NIO, and I will be back on that tomorrow. I do like NIO. Something's halted?
Yeah, this is a GROV here. Volatility halt late in the day. So this late, it should open back up. A lot of times if it halts really, really late, you don't open back up. But I think that's past 350. It's a 9 million share floater. So liquidity is going to be at an absolute premium. It's only done 400,000 shares. So I don't suggest trading things like this usually, because if it does halt another time, you're talking overnight in a liquid stock to be sure. But there is an interesting profile on it in the daily, which is when you have something which has done one of those open up, issue, get destroyed for a few days in a row, and then starts to catch a bid. We've seen these things recover, and you could see this maybe do a double up. Late day runners, regardless of whether it follows through, I tend to want to put them on the radar for the next day, because what will happen is it might not be in your gap list because it might look tomorrow like it's opening up flat, but then you forget that right at like 3 or 3:30 it made the late run, or in the aftermarket it maybe makes the run. But if it does it intraday, that can be tricky because it won't show up on your gap list if this thing stays flat until the close at 550. It's indicating a 550 open. That's only 14 cents to the upside.
Apple.
I'm unlikely to trade it, but heads up on this GROV. Put it on watch here. Low floaters have been the jam lately.
Oh, floaters. Never going to stop laughing at that one. Okay, so out at 40, another piece. We just took another dime. Come on, Apple, man. Like, let's get going. Remember, those imbalances have not been good for your boys. So we'll wait to see where we go on this. I hope we can turn that frown upside down and get a good imbalance for us this time for the buy side. I don't know if we have another update on that one. Pratt, if there is one, let me know on that. But I don't think so. So we'll wait to see here. I don't think it's going to be a big one. The day doesn't really sort of pan out to be a big imbalance today. So I don't think that there's going to be anything there. If there is, great. But yeah, we're not going to like rest on that. Let's see if it can go back up to the upside now. I'm going to take another piece. If we get something in the mid 40s, we'll take that out. And then I am waiting, like I said, in the 70s for that. But maybe we get a little bit of a spike up in 4 minutes when the imbalance comes out. But right now, there it is right there from Prad. So it's 144 million.
Tiny.
So it started at 180 or so, now down to 144. So not the great movement, but like I said, if I'm long, that means the imbalance probably comes the other way. AMC though.
I just covered my AMC. I don't know. It's kind of struggling up here.
Yeah, it's kind of struggling up. Well, yeah. I mean, it needs to get up here, 1380. So, we'll put another offer out on AMC, see if we can get that bid a little bit to rise up here. We got out at 87 last time. We'll see if we get another 87 bid. So that's in there now for our offer is in there 487. Probably a good cover. I'm going to give this back to 65. So that for me, we could add another red feather to our cap. but I'm willing to do that on AMC. Maybe there is something that comes through here at the close for AMC, but with only 3 minutes now, Apple, there it is, man. There's the turnaround for Apple. So like I said, heading into these closes just doesn't seem to be working out for me when I hold on to these positions. But Apple right now going to take down 139. That's going to be our out. I'm okay with it. We've scalped back and forth a couple of times. We only have now 60% left as we have 4 outs right there. Only 60% left of this position as it looks like, it's about to get taken out right here.
Grove. So Grove opened back up, and there was just size at 6. It just got taken out. So, hey, maybe it wants to make that run up to that $8 on the daily chart, but it's a little late in the day. I wouldn't even check for pay for shorts. I don't care. It could be 1 cent, and I wouldn't pay for it at this point because there's not enough time to really express a trade and have it work, especially if it's going to be a pullback. But 9 million float is about the number that you need to concern yourself with because that's absolutely tiny. The stock had been crushed the last couple of days, so there is some chance for a relief rally. It just failed to break at 6 even, but it's above the Hull price, which is usually those are good. Those are big indicators, right? The Hull price down at 536. The bottom on that reopen ended up opening higher than that 550 indicated. Been seeing that tap value has been pretty useless lately. A lot of times you're opening pretty far away from the indication because people are waiting until the last 5 to 10 seconds to put their orders in for the open on an auction, meaning that indicated open isn't holding a lot of value for us lately. So ended up opening a lot higher than that, but it's holding that 550 area support. So looks like we got a strong one here. Make sure it's on your radar for tomorrow, longs or shorts. This is going to be a mover, almost guaranteed. I'm going to highball that $8 for tomorrow.
Yeah, and then I'm also interested in that tide tomorrow as well. So we'll see when that comes through there. And then apparently there was a vote happening as well to add more to the float there for BBIG. So that's going to come through. And like I said, people know more about these than we do. So, all right, here we go, man. This is the imbalance locator. We have it sorted. Actually, I don't have it sorted by market here. So let's do that. Get off ARCA. And then when it comes out, man, you'll see it spit here. And then hopefully the market starts to go back up to the upside. Yeah, I'm talking about you, Apple. But we do have our target out. So, hey, if anything goes wrong here, we do have an out for Apple. So, I'm not super stressed about it. It looks like it's coming to the downside. We will take a hit on that. AMC good out by you as it's down. It's back down to 1375.
But I lost on that last trade.
Yeah. I could have, like I said, I guess that's right. I could have got out for flat, but didn't. So, okay, on that one. But all right, here we go. So let's just watch it out here as we only have now 30 seconds.
Shoot.
My out for Apple is a little lower than 139. So if there is some kind of a dance here, we should be okay on it. So let's just wait to see. Hopefully it doesn't dance too much to the downside, and we have some protection there. So let's see where it goes. But Apple right now looking like it wants to come out here in 10 seconds. We'll wait to see where it goes. Mock's imbalance, market on close. If you hear us say that, that's what that means. Here it comes out right now with only 3, 2. I feel like we need to have Tony ring the bell. There it is. So, okay, upside. Looks like Apple just went upside a little bit there. No idea. Some of these prints are kind of going nuts right here on
Amazon's
Apple.
a sell of 1.2 million, but Pinterest 1 million buy. Lordstown buy of 900,000. CCL big buy 800,000 shares. So overall, outside of Amazon, everything's to the buy side. Citigroup's a sell, but mostly to the buy side. Amazon, that's an interesting one.
Yeah, I don't see Apple on here, but I guess I don't really need to. That went up and down and around kind of like crazy. So I keep saying it doesn't ever work out for me. So let's just get out now if we can a little bit more on Apple. It did give us some outs there at 30. We'll put another one there at 30, see if we can get out for flat. As saved today a little bit. Saved. It went up 20 cents. Like, come on, man. Try to save me a little bit more. I don't see AMC on here either. So AMMM, A, B, C, D. Oh, come on. How many goddamn stocks are there on here? AM, where's M? AM. I still don't see it. Prad's just yelling out some nonsense there. AMC right here, sell, small sell, 12,000. So nothing burger there on AMC.
Yeah, Lordstown, which I forgot is a $1.70 stock. So apologies for thinking that was a significant imbalance on Lordstown. It's 900,000 is not a big deal. It's $1.70, so that's a pretty cheap stock, guy. It doesn't really do much to it there. So a bit of a nothing burger, I'd say, outside of Amazon, which while it came out to the sell side, did not do a heck of a lot. It's the first thing I checked out to see if it moved on that sell imbalance. Not really, but that's probably because the market looked relatively strong. So we'll check out. We'll just make sure, because if that for whatever reason, Amazon.
Oh, Amazon.
If that stays at 1 million, then maybe there's a fade on that as the market tries to grind higher. Like if it gets to the high because the market pushes us up, and it's somehow still 1 million, I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to pair off. then it could be a little bit of a scalp trade right at the close. But I seriously doubt that's going to be the case. Like I said, I got out of AMC. I covered Beyond Meat, 10-cent hit. Going to get out at about 350. If it's not going in my favor before the imbalances come out, I'm going to get out right before on the imbalances usually, just the way I like to be able to play it. So a bit of a nothing burger. That Grove, which I still want to pay attention to going into that close. I just want to see how this is trading above that price. And I'd say pretty strongly, there was a huge seller at $6. So the fact that someone was like dumping and it's actually catching bids above that price still, pretty good sign for this GROV. Looking very strong here. I mean, this is the problem of taking, like if you take halt trades into it, it's not that bad. But if you take the opening print long in something like this, usually it's a good way to get shaken out because you would have gotten screwed. Like you're probably getting scared and getting stopped out. But if you just sort of take it off the support of the halt price or taking it on the actual halt or getting it on a $5 break, those are ways to get in. It's just tricky to ever take an entry on a reopen on one of these. I don't think I've ever done that, actually. I don't even know anybody that does that. So I'd say never do it. It usually gets shaken out, even if this one is still taking out tops.
Tony Pepperoni, he's part Italian. Yeah, he's part Italian for sure, Tony Pepperoni. As we go there, good comment there, DL Hughley. Okay. What? R. Kelly was sentenced to 30 years. Is that true? I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? I don't know anything about that, but we'll go on that. All right. We were able to get some out there on on Apple there, 139.30 right there. So again, it came back up. We are a little bit saved. We are holding out a little bit of hope here, but this is hopium, and what I mean by that is just like we're just throwing it out. We'll see if it hits. If not, I feel like this is like a crypto trade, hoping it goes back up. There it is, downside, so we'll flush it down there as Superman lost his wings. He doesn't have wings, his cape there. There goes Apple to the downside. We give it back. We still stay Apple. Good trade today, but definitely gave it up there at the end. It's going to look bad. We didn't have that many shares as we were able to get out there on that imbalance back there at VWAP, but we did hold to see if it did extend out. And once again, there it is again. The imbalance is definitely hitting me one more time every single day. I'm just gonna have to like psychologically just go the other way. Maybe if I'm long Apple, I'll just like short the Qs coming into that one. That tends to be a good relationship there. AMC again.
It's not a bad play.
No, it's well. Yeah, until it's the other way around. Oh, R. Kelly is true. Okay.
Because essentially what you're doing in that situation is you're picking a stock you think can be relatively strong, and then you're looking at that imbalance saying, we're going to break one direction or the other, right? So you put a stop in, you take the Qs. If it's downside, you got your covered, and you stop out on Apple. But if it's to the upside, you think Apple's going to outperform. So I've seen people do bracket trades off that before. You're just picking stock instead of just doing a bracket on the futures. Someone asked about AMD. Double topped and pulled back to that 130 area we were talking about. That's where it's holding right now. I did say that I thought there could be some support in the mid 130s, but it's 355, so I'm not going to be making that trade myself. Certainly one to put on the radar for tomorrow because, yeah, it held up support exactly where you had the consolidation before its breakout toward the high of the day. That's never a bad thing, but it did give up like 20% here off the high. So not exactly a great close. We do have... I don't know if we're ready for it, but there's a couple of names on the earnings board there. I did double check to see if anything really happened with, what was it, Amazon. It looks like it did, in fact, pair off. So, that nothing burger, it paired off altogether. I don't even see it on the locator anywhere. So Amazon did pull back with the market, but that imbalance didn't even stick.
Yeah, wow, yeah, I can't believe that there for R. Kelly. That's unbelievable. 30 years. I mean, I believe it. That's crazy.
Good.
Yeah, for sure. Wow, like so much time. Like, oh, we had another thing yesterday. We're not going to talk about all this, but wow.
This is the remix edition.
Yeah. This is a remix. Yeah. Poor. I was going to say poor R. Kelly, but not at all.
I'm in my head. I'm like, how does the rest of that go? Can I say that?
Yeah, no, I don't think. We got to slow down on any of those songs right now.
Yeah, my bad.
But let's go over to Brendan right now, as there's only 4 minutes left in the market.
Hey guys, quickly, we'll get some earnings here for you tonight and tomorrow morning. Not much in the way of excitement on this board, but let's make it official. Again, mostly, I think, aftermarket tonight. There are one or two maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Walgreens we talked about. The bigger one coming after market tomorrow is going to be Micron, right? Like
yes.
the entire chip space. I know it's not on the board today, but let's be real. Everyone's interested in the chip space.
You can see where
almost everybody's invested in it. So, it needs a good print, Micron, and I'm not completely convinced it's going to happen. Wow, Micron dumped at the. I guess the entire market pulled back, but yeah, Micron there.
Is Micron before or after market there, Brendo?
I'm going to say
Because
after.
I would say after too, because
I think it's after.
yeah, I think normally tech names will come at 4:30. So
Yeah.
oh, aftermarket. Okay, good. Yeah, AMC. Okay, wow. So we may be able to get that real soon and see what's good. So AMD. Tomorrow. It's tomorrow.
Yeah,
My
it's
bad.
aftermarket tomorrow.
Aftermarket tomorrow. My bad. I was going to say, because you're going to get a real good read here on AMD and Nvidia and this space as we keep talking about that heading into that market mover tomorrow in Micron. So yeah, not too many names there today. Bed Bath & Beyond was a juicy one. BBBY. How much time is left? Only 3 minutes right now. Yeah, there it is at $5 again. Not so crazy today. It didn't have too many violent moves really, but definitely edged its way down there, including 490 bottom. So watch out for that thing to break tomorrow. 490 there on Micron could be one. And it looks like right here, where's my out coming out very, very soon on AMC. As we were able to get some more out, you saw we got some out at 72 there as we went back to the 50 period. We got some out at 78. So it'll be a hit, but we tried it just in case it was going. And, to Nathan's question that he had earlier, I believe it was Nathan Wilder, I think it was. That's the difference between trading at the open and at the close, right? Is that at the open, you're kind of making new levels, seeing these stocks run, getting the momentum, and then into the close, you really, get some pretty choppy situations that happen. So, that's the one thing you got to look out for with only 2 minutes to go there. I don't know. NCLH, you were just talking about CCL there, but NCLH is down still, man. That's down 10% as well. And why? Good.
If you had to buy,
I don't know. I mean, you don't have to buy anything.
No, you don't have to buy
but NCLH, again, one of those nasty ones. I prefer, NCLH or Royal Caribbean, RCL is another one there. But CCL, they're all the same, man. There's probably an ETF for cruises. I know the one for jets. We could check out jets.atm here. Jets AM, JETS, Jets. Did you see there was this one guy that had a parlay? I don't know if you guys ever saw it. Was on Barstool there yesterday. This person bet $17.50. He has Golden State to win the championship. He had the Avalanche to win the championship. So his cash out right now, Neil, or her, I don't know what it is $528 on $17. But there's a third leg to the parlay.
it's a baseball?
No, it's Jets to win the Super Bowl.
Oh, for the love
If the
of-
Jets win the Super Bowl.
Why are we even talking about it?
I know, that
then?
$17.50 turns into $72,000.
Why would you take a reasonable parlay and then bet on the Jets?
No, because now you can cash out. It was
You better cash out, whoever.
$17, and he or she now makes $528.
And I'm president of the Elijah Moore fan club.
500.
I think that he's one of the best young wide receivers in the entire NFL. But yeah, the Jets aren't going anywhere, man. Especially in a division with the actual
Don't worry about
NFL
Zach
champion
Wilson.
Bills. I know you have Zach Wilson in our pool, Sean, and I actually like Zach Wilson. But let's get it off me. Let's get it to Tony El Tigre.
Oh,
who
it's
did
a Tigre
fantastic
man is
job
here.
yesterday. Ringing the bell. Yeah, there we go. Dance it off in 5, 4, 3, 2. It's yours, Tony.
He gone. Thank you, Tony. Ooh, fade over to us there. Thanks,
Yeah, I
Tony.
like that.
Always nice to see when Tony's kicking around. There it is, man. AMC, we did get out at 65 to end the day, but hey, good day overall, man. I mean, we could, some big trades for us.
Tesla ended
really happy. Tesla, Micron, all that jazz. We're going to be here tomorrow to cover some more of these names. But yeah, for right now, it's 4 o'clock. We have the trade of the day after this. But right now, let's review how the markets ended up today. And it looks like we may have some green on the board.
Indeed. Yeah, a couple, in fact. It was a back and forth kind of day, choppy overall, guys. But here we go. Yeah, the Dow ends the day there 0.25% to the upside, 0.07 for the S&P to the downside. Small caps, pretty weak. Yeah, NASDAQ 100, I guess, did get positive there. It's the 100, though. The composite still down 0.5%, guys.
Like
Almost.
my wife messaging me, don't forget the plant pickup. We don't even have any, we just planted 160 plants at the school, and now there's more that I need to pick up. So I'll do it. Don't worry. I'll pick that up as we go.
Do it, man.
It's my daughter's, they're going to the Mandarin tonight. It's their year-end wrap. So they finish now and they start back up in September. 9 hours a week is now finished for her gymnastics. So they celebrate it by going to the Mandarin. But I don't think the Mandarin is a buffet anymore. I think you order it off the menu.
Mandarin's not a buffet. That's
No,
the entire point of the Mandarin.
Still, when have you been last?
It's got to be a buffet.
Okay, good. So
Okay,
it is.
still
Okay,
buffet.
good. So she'll be happy with that. I had heard that they switched over to it's still
Oh, you
buffet.
can't. Okay.
But like you tell the person what you want and they get it for you.
Oh, 'cause of
that whole
COVID
COVID stuff. But maybe that's changed. But Sharif there dropping the knowledge that it is not, or it still is a buffet. So
That's what I
Mandarin.
like to see.
I guess that's a Canadian thing, so I should have told everybody it's a Chinese buffet.
Oh yeah, that's right. Mandarin Chinese buffet in Canada. Some crazy wick prints on Meta, by the way, which it tricked me because I'm like, oh my goodness, what the heck just happened in Meta? But it's just some dark pool prints. If you see these, yeah, Meta did not go to 169, then to 160, and then back. No, it did not do any of that. So I did do one of those like double takes, but yeah, that's all it is. Nothing, just some dark pools.
All right, big thank you to Lucas today, man. Manning that whole board by himself all day. This man didn't even get any break, so there he is right there. He'll sleep well tonight. They're probably exhausted like I'm super exhausted. I don't know why that is. Like it doesn't even feel like a Wednesday to me. I don't know. It feels like it's the end of the week, but I don't know. Is it Friday yet? But yeah, Wednesday. So that means we're back tomorrow. It's Hump Day actually on Wednesday. So thanks to everybody today. Thanks to Ian, Lucas. Thanks to Brandon for the watch list. Thanks to this Brendan as well. The Killer Bees on the watch list, and to Trader Prad there. They're going golfing there, so hopefully
Good luck.
they
Hope it doesn't rain,
get
but-
some good scores. No, I think it's okay now. It's actually perfect. It's like 20 degrees and nice now. So
20 is
cold. Good weather for that. Stay tuned. The trade of the day was AMD. We'll talk about why we like that. Anything you want to wrap up here, Brendo?
No, pretty good day, guys, considering what could have been, I guess, off the GDP and off these comments from ECB forum that was this morning. So, hey, we'll take it at the end of it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's do a big thank you to Bears versus Bulls. We don't do that enough, so thank you for the chat as well and all the moderation. So thank you so much for all of that. What was it? Trade TV? What was that? Oh, I almost forgot already who gave us all those memberships today. Hold on a second. I should have them. True Trading Group. That's what it was. Thank you so much, True Trading Group, for everything today. That meant a lot to us, man. And just thank you. And over 70, I think it was 70 memberships. Then a few others gifted 20 and 10 and stuff like that. It was a very, very big day for us. So thank you to everybody. Big shout outs to all of you that are watching. But join us tomorrow. Stay tuned for the trade of the day and join us tomorrow at 8:30. We'll do this all over again. So it's Thursday tomorrow. Should be good. More earnings, man. That market was a little wild, although we finished flat.
And it's month end.
And, that's another thing, man. Tomorrow's the 30th. Wowee. Okay. So let's buckle up, sit tight, and don't, if you're out of Canada's Wonderland, man, don't undo your seatbelt at all.
It was really fun.
If you can avoid that, no matter how fun my friend over here says it is.
You shouldn't do that.
Disclaimer, don't do it.
Yeah, that's
We'll
my
see
bad.
you guys tomorrow. It's 4:04. We got to get out of here. Ciao, guys.